Welcome to Learned and Go-Go, the podcast. Hey, everybody. This is Sydnee. I am your host, and I am the author of Everything I Need to Know I Learned in Go-Go, How a Preacher's Daughter Pole Danced Her Way to Finding Her True Self. Thank you all so much for joining me tonight, and I am super duper excited to introduce my guest, Illsvn Forek, the creator of IllTV. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, and thanks for having me. I guess we'll give everybody the rundown. I've had the privilege of meeting Sydnee during the Troma of, Power of Positive Murder filming.
Right.
And her and I were extras, and we got absolutely fucking blood covered together. Like, it looked like I was having like my period. And I mean, like, we were soaked in blood. And the first day was pretty tame, but the second day, and she's like, well, I have a podcast. I was like, I would love to be on the podcast. And this is the second podcast I've gotten on from that. So I can't tell you how like ironic it is, but I just fucked with your vibe and your energy. You bring such an awesome vibe and energy. And then you go with that $1 million smile. I mean, it's great. I love it.
Well, thank you. I was going to say you too, which is why I was like so excited that you wanted to join me on this. And I have to let everybody know, when I met Illsvn, we were screaming. And
yeah.
Most of the time,
with our clothes on. Hold on.
Yeah, happily married. But most of the time, people need to get to know me a little bit before they start screaming. But he has a fantastic horror movie scream. That was incredible.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Oh, now I remember what you're talking about. Not just the screaming from the scene, but when they
the
screaming. Yeah.
Yeah, they had us do an audio clip. That was so funny. So, guys, picture this. We are at, Troma film set. Dream come true to be part of this. There is this beautiful, tiny little petite girl. She was so cute, gorgeous ringlets, long red hair, dressed up like Juliet, like in this beautiful gown. The scream that came out of this body, I could not recreate. And I don't know where it came. She brought it up from her toes to the point that they had the boom mic in her face, and they had to back it up and say, let's do it again. You blasted out the equipment.
Yeah, you sent that train into the wall, as we call it. I used to be an EDM producer, so that whole redlining thing, like, drives me insane.
None of us saw it coming. Like, she was so cute and little, and then
dude, it was great. And I'm not gonna lie, that's probably the second loudest scream I've ever heard. The first one I heard, I was on Deadly Endings, a film I was in. I perished in that. It's a drug dealer scene gone wrong. I'm just a goon. I don't have any real speaking lines, but I get blown away. There was this girl in there. I think her name was Sarah Sweeney. Sarah, I think her name was.
Okay.
She had a scream that I was in the other room, and it went through me. Like, I was in the room with her, and she had to do that a few times, and she fucking just like it just traveled through whatever. And then I actually went in the room because, of course, why not? And that shit was
you had to see where it was coming from.
Yeah, and I wasn't anywhere near. Like, I was in the opposite direction of her vocal range, and even though I was behind her, it still went through me like I was in front of her. And if we're talking about people who understand the assignment, the little girl that we saw understood the assignment. This girl did extra credit.
Wow.
Like, that's but that girl was cool. I follow her still. I wish I could remember. I think it's Rose or Marie or something. She's really cool. She's doing a lot still, by the way. She's out there acting and getting herself out there. She's really cool girl. Hard worker.
Excellent. Please share her information with me, because I would love to follow
absolutely. her. I got to check it out when I can. But yeah, she was cool. She was really nice. I don't know who she was there with, but I got along with him too. I wasn't sure if it was like her dad or something, but
right. Well, it's so funny because I saw her and I was like, oh my God, your hair is so beautiful. You look so pretty. And she's like, thank you. Like, was it Hoax from Police Academy? Like the one, excuse me, you gotta stop. That was the voice. And then I did not see that coming. She was incredible. So never underestimate people.
No. I met some really cool people there. The Troma family is interesting because I was like, around people that they're like, bro, this is like our 900th Troma film. Like, this is my first. And again, I found it. I don't know how you found. Oh, you said so. I found it as a post. Someone said we need extras in a Troma film. I was like, that's a no brainer. So I hopped in my truck, drove hour and a half up, did my thing. And it's funny because I checked out of the hotel before we did the blood scene. So guess who drove home for an hour and a half covered in blood?
Okay, you know what? I am jealous because I drove home 7 hours covered in blood. So I wish it was an hour and a half. Because what happened was at Tromathon, I met Ben, the director, and he was looking for extras. And I was interested, but it was far enough away that I was like, man. And like I said, Johnny Logan Harley, my friend Johnny Necro, was like, let's go do it. I said, absolutely. So I had to go up there by way of picking him up. So that's was so long. I went to like northeastern Pennsylvania and then to New York and then back.
Okay.
My hair was like Rice Krispies. Like,
yeah. Oh man.
I mean, having it sprayed out, because if you remember Militia, the character that I created for this, who was a cretin who dropped out of Nukem High before it exploded. That's how we got
I love that. That was cool, by the way. I like that.
Thank you. So between the blood and the hairspray and the teasing, it was a mess. And yeah, I actually covered my truck in beach blankets, you know, like comforters so that I didn't mess it up. But I was so sticky.
Oh, dude. And like, I can't say I had that dilemma. I went up there on my work truck. I do sprinkler work. So that shit's just got a layer of dirt on it no matter what. You got to wash it 5 times to get to the 4th layer type of thing. Gotcha. But yeah, no, it wasn't so bad, but it's just so funny because I died in 7 films last year. Troma, Power of Pain wasn't even the last one. I was killed
Power
in
Positive Murder, right?
Power Positive Murder. Yeah. Thank you for that.
Of course.
I'm thinking of 9 different movie titles. I died in like 7 films last year, and that one was kind of cool because it was like, you know, a mass death scene. And there's actually a shining moment where there's a picture of Toxie waving the flag, and I'm like right by his leg. But unfortunately, I don't have my face facing forward. But you know, there's vest enough that if I said, yeah, that's me, you wouldn't even question it. You'd be like, yeah,
absolutely. I think I know the shot you're thinking, you're referencing, because I'm an arm in it. But that's my arm. That's my arm. I met super nice guy named Ricky. I don't know if you talked to Ricky. He had the rats.
I did not know. I mean, I love rats, so I would have loved to have seen that. I had a few pet rats as a kid.
Nice. Yeah, he brought, I think, 3 of his pet rats to be in the film as well. Yeah. And we connected. So for those of you who have never been on a movie set, if you're an extra, it's a long day. And they put you in, we were calling it base camp. You know, we all hung out, and that's where I met.
Camp Tromahawk, you mean? It was called Camp Tromahawk.
Oh, I did not hear that. Okay.
Camp Tromahawk, yep.
I love that even better.
Yep.
So I wound up talking to Ricky because I'm nosy and I was eavesdropping, and he was talking about astrology and stuff. And I'm like, oh, I'm interested. So I just went and joined the conversation. Super nice guy. So when it got to be the death scene, and they just told us, you know, if you were here yesterday, lay where you were. I wasn't. I was only there one day. So they were like, if not, fill in the spaces. And Ricky's like, you can lay on me. So I'm like, okay. So I like put my arm across them, figuring I wouldn't be on the grass. But then they were like, action. And I was in this wonky position and I had to hold it for like a half an hour. I'm like, okay. So like I saw Ricky and I saw an arm. I'm like, that's my arm. I remember doing this scene. But it was really fun. And when they went around with the spray of blood.
Oh God, that was.
And then Lynn would yell, chunky blood, you know, and like.
Yeah, just throw it.
Militia was wearing a mini skirt. So I got a blood enema, and I'm like, dude, I am officially Troma. I've gotten a blood enema.
And you know, they're really cool. Like I you know, and we'll go into this in a moment, but I go to a lot of horror cons, of course, you know, build the brand. And now when I see them, they recognize me right away. And that's the beauty of, as you know, having that definitive look, you know, like that's one of the 4 traits of a hopefully successful artist, is the definitive look. So when people see me, they're like, oh, I know you. And it was cool because they were really, you know, polite, and they remembered me. And it's like, I was just an extra. I was just like, I don't want to say a day. I was a 2-day player, much like yourself. But, you know, they kicked our asses. Like, they literally kicked our fucking asses in the best way possible.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen some really creative use of blood. Like one time for a movie I was in, the one with the girl who screamed, we were in a basement, and it was the house of one of the directors. I think it might've been his mother. And, you know, she was like, you can do the basement and you can kill people in it, but you can't make a mess. So the special effects guy, and this is a common thing, I'm not exactly exposing an industry secret. I was like, how are they going to do that? We're all getting shot. Like, we're all getting like blown away. And sure enough, one thing led to another, and he uses orange soap dyed red. And let me tell you something, with 12 guys and some girls stuffed in a small basement, being hot and sweaty together just off the natural effect. When that blood hit the air and all you smelled was the Ajax, oh, I wanted so many fucking retakes just because the smell. Like, it wasn't like anybody wasn't wearing BO. It was just the natural. Like, everyone showered. We're on film. We look good. But it's just like, it was 12 people inside of a thing. 4 of us are on camera. And, we're trying to figure out how to film from certain angles because there's a table in the way. So we have to move the table. And, you don't want the actor to move it. I've already filmed my scenes. Let me move it and get sweaty and gross. But I'm still adding to the, atmosphere, body temperature. Right. I'm just glad we all were wearing deodorant. But let me tell you, as soon as I smelt that, I was like, oh my God. And it flows just like blood too. The way it ran down the wall and stuff. It's just, think about it. Dish soap. The consistency of dish soap dyed red to the point where you can't see the bubbles anymore is blood.
That's true. Because when I made my own blood for the first time this past summer for Curse of the Ghostwriter, who my friend Johnny has created this film, and I have a role in it. And it was dish soap, food coloring, and corn syrup. Mm-hmm. And so I had it all, it's like sticky and it's running down, and I had it in my mouth. And I haven't eaten sweets since my youngest was 2, and she just turned 20 this week. Wow. So I film it, and the whole night I'm like, nee. And I said to my husband, I'm like, why am I like, but I said, oh my God, I had corn syrup in my mouth. I didn't even think about it. I was buzzing off of the sugar so bad, but it came right out of my clothes. So dish soap is the way to go, which is awesome.
It was fascinating. And I got to be quite honest with you. I've never like I said, I've seen a lot of fake blood as someone who just died so many times. I've never had anything I couldn't wash out. And I'm talking wash out from the denim. Like, there's maybe some stains on the insides, but nothing on the outside. My Doc Martens have always just been wiped clean. When you're doing that, you want to wear your white shirt. So that way, it's very expressive of the blood. And it just all comes out like really, really well. The only thing that did stain was that blood they used on the set for Troma. That was like a solid matter that they would like if you froze gack and got it a little bit colder versus letting it run. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I do, yeah.
I think they said it gack in the fridge as a kid, because I did, but that's what it looked like. It looked just like that.
I think they said it was like melon or something like that cool. They chopped up. So that was pretty cool. But I want to take a minute and say hey to everybody in the comments section. You guys are so awesome. I am so glad that you're here tonight. We do have a special effects expert in the comments today. Our friend Mortimer Dunfellow does special effects. So awesome. I want to say hi to Cody. I want to say hi to Kyler. We have Lizzie. We have Dustin. Let's see who else. Oh, Luna Projects is here tonight. I feel like I'm missing somebody, but you guys are all so awesome. I appreciate you so much. If you have any questions for Illsvn about acting, about special effects, he's got his YouTube channel. We're going to keep talking about stuff, but feel free to ask questions in the comments. I did see Dustin had a question. He asked, does no one use human sacrifices anymore?
Well, the thing is, they just keep killing me and I keep coming back. And like, I'm actually like, I think I might hold the record last year for most deaths in indie horror, but you gotta regenerate. But you know what? You're right. We should do things the old fashioned way. It's over for me anyway. I ain't getting a fucking house. I'm almost 40. It ain't happening. Let's do this.
Oh, almost 40. Oh, sweetie.
I'm 39.
I am 49 and my birthday is next month. So I'm
glad neither one of us looks our age, right?
Exactly. I'm gonna leave it at that. Yeah, it's all the fake blood.
When I tell people on set how old I am, I'm like, I'm 39. They're like, you don't look it. And I just tell them, I'd be like, just keep telling yourself vampires aren't real. That's all you need to do. Just keep on minding your business. It's like, by the way, of course we show up in mirrors. How do you think we look so fucking good? Like,
it's funny because when I, a few years back, I decided to call an old manager of mine to see if I could go back to a bar I used to work at and just use the stage before the bar opened to work out, because I missed dancing. I didn't miss the customers.
Part of who you are. So.
Right. And that's why I got it.
Yeah, that's why I like that. I think it's very, very awesome. I had a sister who was in that line of work, half sister, before my mom comes in saying that wasn't my daughter. No, I'm just kidding. She was my half sister. And she doesn't care at all, but she was in that line of work, and I think she might have went a little bit further into the California side of it. And it was something that was always fascinating. I was always friends in nightlife with the go-go dancers. I used to be a DJ. I used to go to raves. I used to be in the NYC nightlife. So like most of my friends were go-go's, and I know there's a difference between a go-go and the stripper, but yes and no. Well, the go-go is that I should stress in New York City, a go-go is a girl who dances with her.
As I say, in the cage. Is that
or in the cage or on the stage or somewhere with her clothes on? And a stripper in New York, to my understanding, is of course when you go to a strip club. So you can't go to Webster Hall and call the dancers go-go's and have it mean the same thing as if you went to Sapphire. Stuff like that is the terminology of New York. I was in nightlife for like almost a decade and a half. And it was a ride, and it taught me a lot. And I met a lot of people in your line of work, including my family member. And I gotta say, I admire a guy's athleticism, like the confidence I can understand because I've been confident as an entertainer. The athleticism, though, like I can only imagine. I had a film scene where I had to do something that was, and I don't want to spoil it, but I had a death that required some strenuous abilities, and I knew if I did not hit the gym beforehand, it was going to be a hard time because I am not an easy person to move by myself at 240 pounds.
Right, and the recovery is where it hurts.
Yeah, that's where it hurts.
Right, like so I started out dancing in Jersey, which is bikini bars. If you have booze, because you get booze or you get boobs, you don't get both. So when I started, it was bikini bars, and then moved to Petsy, topless, whatever. So that's why I'm like go-go and stripper in my line is kind of the same thing. But so I called my old boss, and I was like, yo, it's Sid from the 90s. He's like, oh my God. So
wow.
I said, can I come back and just use the stage before you open up so I can work out? He's like, absolutely. And when he saw me, he goes, you've been drinking the vampire juice. I was like, well, yeah. So it's I'm grateful. Believe me, I'm very grateful. I try to take good care of myself. So, and it's been really frustrating now that I'm injured and I can't work out. I'm very, very frustrated, but I'm just trying to do the best. So
I've on the fitness side of things, like I said, I went and did that. And that was back in November. That was back in October when I started to make it for the November. And from that point forward, I have been going like 5 times a week, 6 times a week. I got cast, and we'll talk about this more. I'm actually cast as a reoccurring killer in a series.
Nice.
And it has a bodysuit to it. So it's like, you want to look nice and big. So I've just been going 6 times a week, like for 4 months now. And it's like this vest, if I put my arms all the way out after, I'm going to tear it. Like that's a problem. This is an XL
Hulk out.
Yeah, it's like, all right, I'm not complaining. Like, I weighed 240 last year and I did not look this good. So, I mean, like, from eating too much. But yeah, your athleticism is really something you want to keep up as you get older, as you know, right? We're getting to the point where our muscle mass is disappearing. Fat is just taking over nonstop, like a cancer is of its own kind.
Yes.
Yeah, man. Your athleticism, your health, and at this point, it's not even about looking good, even though I'm on film. It's just about like knowing I'm going to make it to like 65 and be able to get in and out of my chair comfortably. You know what I mean? Like
that's the thing is the mobility is what it's about. Like I don't want to have to be subject to, and if you have a disability, I'm not talking about that at all. I'm talking about, what is in our control. Because absolutely. I know a lot of people who have issues that are choices. And then there's people that have issues that are not choices. And
those people are always quick to tell you, hey, don't take it for granted. So when you go to the gym and, you're doing exactly that, don't take it for granted. Like, can you move your arms like this? I can't. You should go make sure you get the most out of that because it's something that you do every day that you couldn't imagine not doing, but that's my reality. So,
exactly.
Like that's, and what's that saying? What's normal to the spider is chaos to the fly, like that type of thing, like.
Not only that, but I used to tell people, because I used to do coaching through Beachbody, which no longer has coaches, but I used to tell people you don't have to work out, you get to work out because not everybody is able to. So that changes your mindset a little bit as well. But I love Skull says, I'm buff, but flexible.
Nice, Skull.
I love
OnlyFans to prove that?
Oh my goodness. Mortimer's having trouble with YouTube censoring comments. That happens a lot. I hate when that happens. Dallas Cheeseman has joined us.
Dallas, how's it going, man? Hey, Dallas. Oh, man. Dallas has worked with Black Hat Films, which, of course, we're going to talk about later. And I believe me and Dallas are in Human Hibachi 3 together, if I'm not incorrect. And we'll be talking about Human Hibachi 3 as well later.
I was going to say, that sounds familiar because...
Human Hibachi 3. That's good.
That's the first one, right?
Yes, I believe so. Yes,
okay.
yes. that is going to be really cool because it's my first. I guess let's fuck it. Let's talk about it now.
I was going to say, let's talk about it now. I brought up the picture, so let's talk about it now. This was the only one that I saw on your page.
Yeah, it's indie horror films can be kind of hard. I'm sorry. Now I know to prepare next time to give people media. Sorry, Mario. I know you're looking at this like mother. No, Human Hibachi 3 is really cool because it knocks the goal off my list of being in a found footage film. I am in a found footage film, and how it works is, it's something that has to do with the whole idea of like, what's your moral compass like? Like, if do you feel like the idea of purging the world of evil, like, is it really true that if you kill a killer, the amount of killers in the world is the same, right? But what if you kill 7 killers?
Oh.
What if you kill 5 killers? Your whole idea is the ratio, right? So it's this twisted morality tale of a guy who believes he's doing Jesus's work, and it's a cult leader named Russell, and I play his assistant Zach. I actually tried out for Russell because the director reached out to me and said, hey, you got this look, would you mind trying out for Russell? Send me the sides. I told him this is my first year really acting. I don't think I'm going to land it, but when opportunity knocks, I'll be the first one to tell you I call shotgun in the car. So, oh, right. That's what I like to hear. I love Human Hibachi films. Can't wait for the third one. A killer who kills killers or morally irreprehensible people. I don't want to spoil it too much. I've been doing a lot of rehearsing. Filming starts this Filming starts this Saturday for my scenes, and then my scene again is the next Saturday after that.
Okay.
And it's, again, the title is totally in it. And I want to say, out of all the films I've been in, this is probably the most fucked up one.
That's saying a lot.
I've been in a lot of crazy films last year. I've died a lot of interesting deaths. But this one I don't even die in. I might make it to 4. We'll see what happens. No spoilers. I might make it to 4. I might not. I don't want to say what happens to my character, but I am like kind of the right-hand man to this individual, and it's just fascinating to watch the desensitization of my character. I'm a big fan of that. This is the first time I'm really being entrusted with a role where I have multiple lines, because how I got into this was I have a YouTube channel, as you know, and I was donating to indie horror films to be in their film and die while wearing my LTV swag, like that right there, more or less. So I fucking love you. It was one of those things where it was like, oh, this is advertising. Like, I get to review horror movies on my channel on pop culture stuff. I get to have the good feeling of I donated like 500 to 1,000. No teeth, by the way. I get the difference between no teeth, and that's not just in the fucking movie if we ever meet in real life. So I'm just saying. That's the one I asked about the OnlyFans. Oh, they're talking subliminally. The subs.
Yeah.
There's subs there, and I don't mean on your channel, baby. But like, it's one of those things where I was like, okay, cool. I get to be in a horror movie. I get to make a promo video for the Indiegogo, and they love it because my editing is a little intense, as you've seen, I'm sure.
Yes.
I really pride myself on that stuff. I have more money and equipment than I'd really like to talk for a small setup. And we just had this whole affair where I was like, yeah, I like this. Dying in films. I can wear all my LTV swag. They put me in as Illsvn Forek. One guy let me just cut a straight LTV promo in the thing, which was really cool.
That's awesome.
And it got to a point where every time I got on set, there was this constant, there might be more for you in this than you think. Yes. Why don't you just see if you like it? Try something else, maybe, XYZ. And through networking, I've managed to land some roles where I don't pay to die. And again, at first it started out as advertising. Now it's led to this thing where people know who I am. They like my look. There's people out there that are in rooms full of opportunities. They're saying my name, and that means a lot to me. And I will be talking about all those people today. But, Human Hibachi 3 is really something I'm super excited for. Hey, listen, thanks so much. I'm glad you love my energy, Skull Maggot. What's up? Oh, Black Af Films.
I was just going to say, we're going to talk about Black Af Films as well. Yes, I was waiting for the break.
Into Black Af Films.
Right, but real quick, not to cut you off, but you said something very interesting in that last part, that you're filming this weekend and next weekend, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I wanted to encourage the people who are listening. If you have an interest in being in an indie film, a lot of the time the filmings are on weekends. So yes, you can work it into your schedule to be able to do this as well, which is really awesome, because so many people are like, well, I have a full-time job. Do it on the weekends. So that was all I want to say. I want to hear about Black Af Films.
Yeah,
and we have the Music Outcast.
Music Outcast
too.
Fucking love you, bro. Thanks for making it. Music Outcast is on my a friend I met through my Twitch channel I told you about. I have 2 or 3 people, so half of my Twitch audience is here, which is great.
That is awesome. And if you have Twitch, please follow.
Yeah, I stream. I've been taking off. I normally stream Thursday nights 9 p.m., Saturday nights 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's horror gaming, AAA gaming. Right now, I'm not doing it because I'm busy rehearsing for Human Hibachi. Because again, we need to make sure this is everything it needs to be, because this could be the door opener for me. But I'll talk about Black Av Films entirely. Black Av Films is what happens when a bunch of individuals get together in the indie horror scene and they just decide, well, we could do this. When I was in the very first film I was in, called Pretty Face, which has a lot of the individuals from the Terrifier crew who worked on it, because it's based in Staten Island. If you've seen Terrifier 2, Francisco Di Pinto, he was the gentleman in the dream sequence that had the yellow shirt with the suspenders, and he was blown away. He was the director of this film. Pretty Face is his IP, and I donated to be on the film. That was the initial touchdown of the ILL-TV advertising campaign. And what happened was Ron and his wife Linda were there with their son Brody. Brody is under 18, so your parents have to be on set. We met Brody. Brody was great. We loved him. Ron and Linda.
I love that family. I'm sorry. Yeah. I just have to say they are a fantastic family. They're wonderful.
Yes, they are. They are. No, they are. I love them. My mom and me get along with them great. They're basically my extended family at this point. I don't give a fuck. I'd say, as someone who's been in one before, I think I'd go back in the jail cell for one of them for a few nights. Just to be happy.
I'm so jealous of all of the experiences that Brody has had at this point in his life. Like I see all the posts, incredible. And I'm like, I want to be Brody. Damn it, he's so cool.
Brody is a really promising individual, and I'm so excited to work with him. And I can't wait to work with him again, because everyone's like, how did we not cast you two as brothers in Pretty Face? Because we could have done that, and that's the running joke.
Similar hair,
and I'm sure Ron's got a way for us to, maybe Ron already does, wink wink, have a situation where me and him will figure that out. Love you too, Music Outcast. It's one of those things again, where I met them and everything was cool, and I thought really nothing of it outside of, I met some really cool people on set. This is my first time. And I start seeing them more and more. I see them at the horror cons. I see them here. I see them there. They've been in the horror con scene a lot longer than me. So it was really interesting to become friends with them. And then there's another one of them, as if there isn't enough. Ron's friend, Chris Ave. Chris Ave, get it now? Ronald Black, Chris Ave.
Get it. Okay, yes.
Yep. DreamWorks was taken. That's an inside joke. It's interesting because they come up with these ideas and they make these films. And I would happen to be there when they were discussing something with me at a horror con. They had already come up with the idea for Black Ab. I was not there for the birth of it, but I was there for talks. And we just really all hit it off well. Our visions were different, but in the same building. I'm a YouTuber. They're a movie maker. We're in the same building. We're just on different floors, right? So Gotcha. There's nothing wrong with that. And we one thing led to another. And next thing you know, we're making a film. Like they made a film at their very first film. This is my favorite thing. I call us the punk rock of indie horror, because their first movie, which you can watch, is called MonsterCon Massacre. It's only on YouTube. Okay. It was filmed at a Monster Mania con, guerrilla style, meaning that like the con was going on and they were filming it, and they show basically this whole plot line of Brody. Brody's basically like really important. I don't want to spoil it, but if you love Brody, you need to go fucking watch MonsterCon Massacre right now. Okay. And I'm going to see if I can pull up the link to it in a second. But he's in that, and that was my first time being killed on Black Av Films, which means I hold the title of being the first person to ever be killed on film by Black Avs, because I was the first death in the film. So they asked me, "Do you want to die in the film?" The weekend of the con, it wasn't like I had any sort of prep. They're like, "You want to die?" I was like in what way? Because the answer is yes to both, but I just want to know what you mean. Like
absolutely.
So
I die. You want to, yeah.
I die in the stairwell, and we start really hitting it off well. Black Av is really making moves. Ron is on pretty much every movie set in the world at one point, just networking, spreading that beautiful love and energy that we all know about him. And one thing leads to another, and next thing you know, they're having an Indiegogo for the next topic, Swine and Dine. These are guys that really had their time just perfectly. Like if there was ever a time that you could believe that these guys have only been doing it for less than a year and they've attained all they attained, it's almost nauseating, because you're like, that's sick. That's sick that you guys got that far in 1 year. And it's cool to be a part of that because they've kind of brought me on like, hey man, just fucking rock with us, man. Just rock with us. Fuck it. I was like, all right, we're going to rock. The other thing I want to talk about real quick, the most punk rock thing about Black AF Films is a little series called Flicker. Have I ever told you about that? Flicker?
That sounds familiar, but
Flicker
please tell everybody. Yeah. Oh, wait.
Flicker is like Black AF Films' personal IP killer. Flicker is their first real, I want to say, outside of Monster Con Massacre, their first real definitive named slaughterer.
Okay.
It's filmed just like it's punk rock style. We go to the hotel. We all just scope out whatever we have to scope out. We find someone who wants to get killed in a film, and we kill them in the hotel, like on the fly. I'm talking like we go, we get everything all set up. We get the blood. We get me in costume or whoever's in costume. We have a sound guy with like, it looks like a mini movie set. And I'm talking, it's like, go, go, go. It's like, we got 10 minutes because if security shows up, the shoot's over.
So you guys were like stream before stream. Is that what you're saying? Like,
I don't want to say anything like that, but we were, how it works is it's just filmed like, it's like, you know, same thing. Person tries to use an elevator. Yeah. Dallas Cheeseman's on Flicker episode 3. I died in 2. My mom died in the first one.
Oh, damn, your mom's in it too. Your mom is the coolest, man.
My mom is
awesome.
pretty. Listen, I've been hearing that since the 90s, so I'm not going to dispute it anymore.
That's awesome.
You know, how it works is, again, we go to this con, and we're not just filming. It's not like they're filming with like a cell phone. It's not like they're filming with like a GoPro. There is a very expensive camera in their hands. There is expensive sound equipment. We have lights. You know, it's in a stairwell, so the echo is really cool. And we just more or less have people who get an elevator that's broke and ultimately meet their demise. Thank you for the follow, by the way. Meet their demise from this character that is Ron's IP, known as Flicker. Okay. Ron used to be Flicker. I asked Ron politely, hey, Ron, you know, I want to put a creature feature under my IMBD. Would you mind if I took on Flicker just for an episode? He's like, be quite honest, it'd be a lot better if you just did it overall so that way I could be a director.
Oh, damn.
So,
okay.
You know, I was asking for an inch and Ron gave me a mile, and it was like, all right, well, I guess we're running 4 then. So now we're, you know, doing this. There's a lot of Flickers in the can. It'll be a while before we get to the one where I'm the killer because they have them tucked away. But I'm really excited for it. It's a privilege and an honor to see them come up with something so brilliant and genius. And, you know, you asked for a little piece of the cake. They're like, well, what if I just gave you all the recipe? It's like, all right, I can't argue with that. So that's something I really can't wait to have you guys check out. I'll try to get that over there. If anybody wants to post a Flicker link in the comments, I don't know if you can. I'm not familiar with StreamYard, surprisingly. But yeah, it's something that's fascinating because, again, it's like punk rock. It's like we look like the first thing we do when we look around at the hotel is like, are there cameras in the hallway? All right, who's got the hallway with no carpet? Because we're blood pouring.
We're going to be like making a mess.
Like,
and we need
it's
to
not like a little bit of blood. I'm talking like pumpers full of blood. And there's like a full-on mop bucket and shit ready to rock because we don't want to leave any stains behind, you know.
Right.
But the cool part is everybody who's walking by in the hotel is there for the horror con. So they don't even think about it. They're like, oh, cool. And then you see them at the con. They're like, oh, I saw you die not too long ago. You know, like it's a really organic and beautiful thing that puts us out there. And, you know, I can't wait to see what comes from Black AF Films. We have a lot of cool things coming your way. I have some cool things because of Black AF Films in my personal career that are coming our way that I just can't put out into the universe yet. But when they do happen, just remember, none of this would be possible for me if it wasn't for the folks at Black AF Films, Ronald Black and Chris Ave, being like, you've really been trying to do this for 20 years and it shows. Just come with us, man. You know, I came up with my stage name in 2004. You know,
that's amazing. And that's something like I'm new to all of this indie film. Like it's only been a year since I've started participating. And one thing that I have noticed about this community is that they are so giving. They are so amazing. And I always refer to it as the family I didn't know I needed.
Yes.
And so when you say, you know, you asked for a piece of cake, they gave you the recipe. I'm not surprised at all because overwhelmingly the people that I've met in this community are like that and they are fantastic. So I'm so glad that you have the same experience that I have with that because everyone's just so freaking awesome, which is super cool.
Skull Maggot says they can't wait for me to join them on more streams. I don't know, whatever you got in plan for me, I'm here.
Well, that was the thing. He wants you to join our Discord. We have a Discord for our Saturday
do you?
podcast. If you can put it in the comments, Skull. So, and also so you know about how the comments work. Some people are on YouTube, some are on Facebook.
Yeah.
So
I know
they're commenting on there and then
Okay,
I
multi-stream too. It's perfect. It's you got a multi-stream in the beginning, but be aware that will eventually start to work against you as you grow.
Okay.
And that's something, and it's something that, you know, if you become an affiliate on Twitch, that's fine. I'm an affiliate on Twitch. But when you become a partner, Twitch is like, no, you work for us. We pay you. We don't want to see you on YouTube. We don't want to see you anywhere. But that's the next level up that I'm a long ways from. But it's one of those things where, for example, the Music Outcast is in the chat. Music Outcast knows me from Instagram, and my posts barely get any traction there. Thank you, Al. He came to my Facebook recently. He just came on my Facebook recently. I know he added you recently, and I told him, I was like, it's a little different over here, isn't it? He's like, yeah, man, it seems like this is the place to be for you, And I almost swore off Facebook last year because I was like, I'm tired of this fucking platform. This platform spreads the most disinformation, blah, blah, blah. And come to find out, if you're not on Facebook, you're not in the indie fucking horror scene. So blood in, blood out, I guess.
Right. And that's why I've kept it to one YouTube, one Facebook to try and keep it, because people were commenting on other streams and I wasn't seeing them. Yeah. So I was like, I want to know what you guys are saying. So that's why I kind of honed it down. I see you said, there we go, Skull. I don't see the link. So if you could put the Discord link again, and then anybody that can see it, please join our Discord.
I actually have, I don't have it on me, but because I don't want to really put it out there, because I actually use it to watch unlicensed movies with my audience. I have a Discord too. It's the ILTV, well, I guess I shouldn't say it, but nonetheless, I have a Discord where I watch horror movies, and I haven't done it in a while. Music Outcast has been there. I've just crash coursed it, but I'm looking forward to utilizing that. I definitely want to talk to you more. I'll message you about it because I have something on Saturday too, but I would like to maybe take one weekend off and come hang out with you guys and stream the night. We'll figure something out, because if you guys really want to extend the offer, I'm totally down to see what it's like, because collaboration, is what it's all about. I got ABCs, always be creating, always be collaborating, and always be cool.
And that's one of the things that I say all the time is, when the tide comes in, all ships rise. So stop working against each other. Let's all collab, because we can all be successful. And then when that tide comes in, we're all going to rise. So.
Right. It's like, and I agree with that. At the same time, I'm also like, success doesn't come in mass. But you're right. They're like, the best way to describe it is like, when one goes on, they all go on. You got to play your position. Like,
and there's always going to be somebody who's drilling holes in your boat. You have to watch.
Well, I mean, like in general, but you want to. I'm always a big fan of playing my position in the sense that, like, let's look at. Okay, here's a great G Unit, 50 Cent. We all know the members of G Unit if you're into hip hop from that time. 50 Cent, Lloyd Banks, Young Buck, and what was the other one? Tony Yayo, my favorite member.
Okay.
Tony Yayo once said, 50 Cent is living proof that success does not come in mass, and that playing your position will always get you farther than trying to outdo the masses. He's like, I could have tried to outdo 50 Cent. I could have. It wouldn't have worked. I played my position. I'm in 50's corner. I'm the only one from the original G-Unit still left because of my loyalty to him. But never once in my life did I try to step out of my position.
Right.
If I was offered something, yes, but you have to know how to play your position, because success doesn't come in mass. It comes to whoever it comes to. And sometimes it rubs off onto you if you're lucky and you're not a scummy person. It's something that I'm a big fan of. I'm trying to think, what was the next thing I want to talk? We didn't talk about Swine and Dine yet.
I was going to say, we need to talk about Swine and Dine, but also Mortimer is offering a part in his film, The Legend of Bloody Bones. So you guys can connect on that if that's something
Mortimer, that would be awesome, man.
Why interested in as well.
Mortimer, you see my Instagram scrolling along the bottom there? Why don't you give me a follow and shoot me a message to let me know that's you? Because I have terrible ADHD, and I will just do me a favor, if you would be so kind, Mortimer. Just hit me up on Instagram right there, ILTV_official. Did I spell official right this time? Holy shit, I did.
It looks like you did, yes.
Oh my God. Yeah, definitely hit me up, because I would love to talk to you. Maybe if you got some sides you want me to check out. I have no problem just being a body, but if you want me to do some sides, I would be glad. You just let me know. Thank you again, Sydnee, for putting me on this platform and allowing me to get this kind of traction. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely. So, okay, Discord is censoring the link. We will figure it out later. So send it to me again, Skull, because I'm old and I don't remember what it is. And I will get it to Illsvn so he can join our Discord group, because I am being really, really awful about remembering to log in there. I need to do that. So please remind me. I won't get mad about reminders. I need reminders. So.
Yeah, no, I need to get better with Discord too. That's an unspoken platform that I'm really sleeping on. But I've set it up. I understand how it works. It's like I jokingly call it the old internet. Like that and Reddit are old internet. Like there's no flashiness, there's no ads, like you can watch videos and stuff, but it's like old internet to me.
They're pure. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's like pure internet. So let's see. And Mortimer says you would be in the Wild West 1880s dying of poisoning.
Listen, the fact you want me in the 1880s, stay less. I'm in the Wild Wild West. I'm fucking there. I'm ready to be a cowboy, brother. Yeehaw. Call me Illy the Kid. Illy the Kid. That's my fucking name.
Shit, I fucking love that. That's amazing.
See what happens when you have autism? You're a quick thinker. But go ahead. Ask me where my keys are. I don't have a fucking clue.
Right, but Illy the Kid, you were like, bam, bam, bam. That is awesome. All right, so we're talking about Swine and Dine.
Yes, Swine and Dine is a milestone moment for Black F Films because Swine and Dine is a short film. I believe it's going to be 30 to 40 minutes long. I don't know, the editing or post-production. Swine and Dine, like this was their first real, like MonsterCon Massacre was the training wheels. Well, now the training wheels are off and we're riding dirt bikes. We are out there just making it happen to the point where they came up with this idea for Swine and Dine because of animal rights. The film actually takes place on an animal rescue farm that is so pure, you cannot have meat or animal products of any kind. No ordering pizzas. They made us. They were fantastic. I believe it was called the Freedom Farm in New Jersey.
Okay.
Freedom Farm Rescue. And they were just fantastic. They let us have their property for this film, and it's in the middle of the woods, no cell phone service type of shit.
You're in the pines.
It was something else because this was the perfect setting for what's supposed to be someone coming to go and try and set up a distribution right to get more meat for the meat packing industry. And it's fascinating because I've talked about how Michelle Santiago absolutely fucking killed her role in this. And
nice.
Of course we have player 4 from Stream, Mark Haynes, in this. So he is in it. And maybe someone meets their ultimate demise by him that you're talking to, but
no spoilers though, right?
No. Let's put it this way. Everyone knows I bought the perk to get killed by Mark Haynes. I bragged about it online. It's not a fucking mystery. But I because my friend's making a film, and I'm like, I viewed it like, my friend's sitting here making a film, and I always tell him how much I want to support the scene. I was like, I don't want to ask him to be in the film. I want my fucking perk. I want to pay money to be in your film and die because that's on brand for me. And you're my brother in arm. I have no problem donating to your film. I want to make the Indiegogo thing. Like it was everything that I wanted it to be. It was like in less than a year, my life came full circle of being like, man, I can't wait to donate to a Black Av film. And Ron was like, well, here you fucking go, brother. Like, and
hey, let me dine it to you.
I didn't want to reach out because when you say you're making a movie, the first thing that happens is your inbox turns into a fucking traffic light. Stop, go green. Meaning, can I be in your? And it should be. You want that. You want that when you say you're making a film. You want the people to come into you and say, I would like to participate. I know someone who does this. I can do this. Do you need help with that? Hey, I've done this before. You want that fucking thing. And it gets to the point where after the first one, you know who to hit up. And just move forward from there. And what we had on this set that was really cool is we had a lot of different actors. We of course had Michelle Santiago, we had Mark Haynes, and we had me, of course. No, but we had a really cool contrast. We had a young actress on her come up, Lauren Alania. She's done a lot of cool stuff. She's done a lot of cosplays. She's been in some other stuff. She's done some voice acting work, and she's only like 22, and she was great. She was very much so understanding of the assignment. She is quick to be, adapt to whatever she has to adapt to. She has a very awesome and pretty look. It's very definitive. It's something that I was really cool to see because I remember when I first got started as a hip hop artist in my 20s, on MySpace Music, I remember when it was just so wide eyed and just like, wow, and it's interesting because unlike her, I did not have a 50,000 following on Instagram like she does. So, and again, I was like, okay, this is really cool. And she has a lot of promise. We did some work with her at a horror con where she was at our table and she was just great. She was out there having people take pictures. She was a very nice person. She brings her parents along, which I notice is a reoccurring theme here, and it's just very promising to see what the future of indie horror is because that's our future possibly. And it's fascinating to, again, just see today's generation has it so much better. Like I came up with a stage name Illsvn in 2004. YouTube didn't exist and MySpace was 6 months away. Like what I wouldn't have done to have a TikTok in my hand when I came out with Illsvn 4K as a rapper. Do you know what I could have done as a rapper? Just remixing hot beats and putting my own verses over it like I was 20 years ago, but I was passing out CDRs. I didn't have a visual aid. Like these kids today got got it so good, and I'm so happy for them because they deserve it. Artists should not have to struggle to get their shit out there, and it's important that, you know, people like her utilize that because she knows how to use it like I don't, despite the fact I've been around since its inception. I'm sure she has an understanding of it that's beyond mine, and if I sat and talked with her, she'd probably blow my fucking mind. So that's pretty fascinating. I really, really hope big things for her. We're rooting for you, Lauren. We can't wait to see you at my Ninja HorrorCon, by the way. God, I can't wait to talk about HorrorCons.
That is so awesome.
After that, if you don't mind, I just want to talk about this.
No, go ahead.
Kelsey Rea. Kelsey Rea is a, I want to say up and coming, but that would be a kind of an insult to her. She's an established player. She is attending premieres weekly on Facebook type of stuff. And she's not attending a premiere. She's attending a movie filming that's about to become a premiere. She is a real solid actress. Me and Ron met her on the film set for Grind, and I got to work with her. And that's, I'm not going to spoil, that was a cool scene. Me and her have a fun little scene together. She plays a very powerful being in that, like an all encompassing, yeah, I would talk. I would lower my voice around that, or just not say anything at all. You know, and she is just such a powerful player because I was running sound. Yes, I know. I told Ron never tell anybody I ran sound. I was running sound, and I'm just like watching her work, and like she can be the person that's just calm and collective on the phone with like her boss, and then all of a sudden, like there's my death scene, and she's watching and just screaming her fucking ass off, like, like she's like, and like she
knows how to flip it,
but she's just so like. And it's just the look in her face, the demeanor, the body language. She gets the whole swap. Like when the switch has to be hit, because, you know, once you yell action, that's it, baby. You know, you're ready to rock. She's definitely in a little bit of an upper echelon than I can imagine. She's in everything. She's not just indie horror, like commercials, other dramatic type of films. Possibly, I think she does comedy. She's a really decorated individual, and it was such a privilege to get to work with her again for the same time. Twice in the same year. It was fantastic. And it was just there's a funny scene where more or less my impending doom is, you know, about to happen, and I am sitting there like, all right, I need to look at someone when I'm, you know, struggling, so that way they can do that. And I'm like, oh, look at Kelsey. Kelsey is the one who's going to be screaming, right? But the camera's not facing Kelsey, the camera's facing me. And like, I guess when my death got revealed, she just started screaming as loud as she could. But for as loud as she was screaming, she was still like laughing in her face. I was like, what kind of fucking talent is that? Where you are laughing, but you're still like, she's like, again, it was like, I didn't know it was wrong. I thought something was wrong, but she's like laughing with a smile on her face while belting out these wails. I was like, damn, that's a different type of fucking animal. Like,
absolutely, because she knew what she needed to be there for. So,
by the way, Music Outcast, I'll probably start streaming again. Not this Thursday, not next Thursday, but after that, because I got to make sure this film is everything it needs to be. So thank you for stopping in, man. I fucking love you.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad you could join us. That is awesome.
The days before YouTube were crazy. I was on MySpace Music. But yeah, it was an experience because I got to ultimately see not just in the app, but like what Black App Films is curated. The people that they curated for this, I am totally drawing a blank on the names of the people who did the fucking lighting, but it was fantastic. It changed. Like if you watch, because I filmed that November 22nd, watch my YouTube videos after that, and you will see I have a completely different understanding of how to light my background, because these individuals just painted, no pun intended, a picture. I was like, I get it now. No white wall. There cannot be a white wall behind you. There has to be a colored wall, or there has to be something, because white, I'm in a garage. So like all the scratches from all the other owners disappear as soon as this green light goes on. Right. And it taught me a lot about framing. I've always kind of understood framing, but I always filmed my videos like more grandesque because, you know, I have that like geek display. And I was like, you know, I should only use that for the intros and the outros. I should try breaking it up a little bit because I was just filming that in front of everything. You know, it's just nice to switch it up. But I learned a lot from them on that note. The lighting was really just like an eye-opening experience for me, because now I understand how lighting sets mood and how mood sets tone and how tone sets viewer retention.
Yep. And it's all an art form. It really is. And once you figure that out and you can learn that art form, it really does change how you do things.
Absolutely. And it's a pinnacle moment for everyone in the film. Michelle Santiago's performance, A+. My death is the best death I've ever had. Like I don't want to spoil it. If you watch the trailer and pause it just right, you can get an idea of what happens to me. But this is peak shit. It is for everyone involved. Maybe except for the lighting crew. They're pretty fucking established. Like the lighting crew was like, oh, you guys are wow. But this is a peak moment for everyone on set. Chris Ave, Ronald Black, Illsvn Forek, Michelle Santiago. Pick someone. It was a peak moment for us. To have Mark Haynes be there and have Michelle Santiago from the kind of Terrifier. Fuzz on the Lens universe. It was just great. For those of you that don't know, Fuzz on the Lens is the crew that creates Terrifier. Just for those of you at home that need a little bit hand holding, and it's just fascinating because it's like they did this in under a year. Like they did all this in under a year of establishing an LLC because they just spent the entire year before pretty much being on movie sets as executive producers, ADs, lighting, PAs, or whatever it was that they were. And they paid their dues, and they bring a great energy, like the energy that people tell me I bring. I've always been told I bring a good energy, and I heard that in the chat. Those guys are the same way. The energy is just perfect, and it's almost more like they're more disarming because they're older gentlemen with families, and they don't look like they're stuck in the 1980s and stuff like that. So they're a lot more approachable. They don't have to have the same disarming type of techniques that I need to have. Like my mom, I always say, is my disarmer. When anybody has any questions about it, they meet my mom, like, oh, he's such a nice, because listen, you've met me. I'm not exactly a small guy. I know if I had just, all I need to do is change my tone and my eyebrows, and people are like, fucking stay away from that one.
Right.
There's nothing right about that, dude. Like I drop this bubbly attitude and start putting bass in my voice. No one wants to be my friend no more.
And like you bring your mom to disarm people. That's amazing.
Listen, I never thought about it like that, but people started like easing up when they were like, "Oh, it's your mom." I'm like, it's like you got to have a
power of the moms, man.
Absolutely,
that's
man.
Mom power is legit.
It's one of those things where presentation is everything. How you present yourself. I had a cousin who hadn't seen me in like 20 years, and then she saw me at the funeral, and like she's like, "That's." Really? And I'm like, she's like, it took me 10 minutes to talk myself to go up to you because you looked fucking terrifying. She's like, you're just this tall man in this all black suit. It was a funeral. Your hair's down in front of your face. You got the goatee. You aren't. She's like, I haven't even seen you smile or fucking blink for that matter.
Right.
And she's like, and then she met me and she's like, and then you open your mouth and you're just this fucking rambling geek. It's so funny. Like,
and that's the best. Like when you have to get to go past a step to get to that part of somebody.
Absolutely, cool. Yeah. I am surrounded by for the first time in my career of 20 years, I'm surrounded by the most wonderful people in the world and some of the most inspiring individuals I've had the privilege of meeting. I've got a few enemies here and there, but you gotta have one or two. Just like Lisa said, I don't know about you trying to kill Principal Skinner, Bart. Everybody needs a nemesis.
Absolutely. And that's funny because in my notes here that I took before we did this, I wanted to address, because I know part of what we've talked about is how at this point in your life, you're proving to the people that didn't have faith in you where you can be now. So how do you address your haters? Like, what do you do with I love that term, haters.
So when my face started showing up in movies, the haters disappeared. That's all I could say.
Okay.
The same people in high school who would comment occasionally once every 5 years, you're still trying to do this, man. Aren't you a little old for that? I don't see them anymore. I see them watching my stories.
Right.
I don't see them anymore. I address my haters by ignoring them because I know you couldn't do what I do. My comfort zone is half of a success area and the other half is a graveyard because my comfort zone will kill you. I've brought people into my comfort zone that really thought they could hang and thought they could do this, and it killed them. So I know a hater that couldn't imagine how I'm doing what I'm doing would absolutely just burn up in the atmosphere before they touch ground. Haters are a sign you're doing something right. If no one hates you, there's nothing to hate. Hate takes a lot of energy. Hate is a Ron told me I need to smile more. That was the Ron. I'll tell you that story. Hate is one of those things where you need to expend a lot of energy. I don't have that energy anymore. I have people I have dislikes for and people that I have mild problems with, but no one's making any moves.
Right.
If you want to move on me, that's a different story. Like, I will not stop your takeoff, but I will fucking crash your landing. Dude, don't you dare. Like, straight
I love that phrase.
I will take your wings off and beat you with them.
Like, that is awesome. Because when I published my book a couple of years ago,
I can only imagine.
learninggogo.com, I was running social media ads, and this person I don't know from a can of paint called me a nasty stripper and blah, blah, blah. And I posted her thing and I said, hooray, I got my first hater. I was so excited because that's how you're being authentic and you are doing the right thing, is because if everybody's yesing you, then maybe you're not that,
Yeah.
So I absolutely, don't get me wrong, I appreciate everyone so much who has bought the book and enjoyed it. I love all of you guys, and thank you. But seeing somebody be like, you suck, I was like, yay! Like I was so excited for it.
It's just interesting again, because I remember like I started as a hip hop artist in the 2000s. Haters was like half of my fucking lyric catalog. I was living the life I wanted on that. Like I can't believe I'm saying this. I was rapping about how I was this big time cocaine dealer while actually being a small time cocaine dealer. And everyone just fucking hated on me because they're like, bro, he is who he says he is in the fucking songs. I made one of those things where people could like say things about you unknowingly. It was it was just like page after page of like content, because I was like, yo, check out what this one said. Check out what this one said. And like I was legitimate, but that's living proof that you could be the legitimate version of who you are. Like you really were a stripper. Same way I was really who I was saying I was on those songs. And, no one could take that away from us. Not that I'm so proud about what I was, your line of work, people, are iffy about it. That line of work, that's nothing to be proud about. I'm not going to sit here and glorify my old life. But it was one of those things where if you're true to yourself, people are always going to fucking hate you, because the people who hate you probably can't be true to themselves. And that's a trigger.
Yes. And that's what I was going to say. That's what I love about my community. All these people in the comments is we are all unapologetically ourselves. And that's why, even if we're on different paths, we have respect for each other because we are who we say we are. And that's a beautiful thing. And when you were talking about, you were a hip hop artist and everything, that's another thing I have. So where did this wanting to act in indie, like what was the catalyst for that? The switch from hip hop to movies?
The switch to hip hop, it wasn't the switch from hip hop to acting. It was the switch from hip hop to EDM, because I lived by New York City. So I became a DJ. But to answer your question, it turns out if you rap about selling cocaine, the Bergen County Narcotics Task Force will come to your door to make sure you're not lying.
Okay. And, that's fair.
They pretty much, handed me my walking papers from the hip hop world, because it was never going to happen again after that, obviously, there's 13 Bergen County Narcotic Task Force cars outside of my block. That's over. Yeah. So I was in nightlife at the time. I was I was a hip hop artist. I was actually getting my songs played in like places like Webster Hall, because I had like this like EDM dance hit thing going. And I'm sitting in that, while I'm waiting for bail to post, I'm sitting in the jail cell from getting my house raided. I was like, what's the route, man? That's all I could think about. I was like, I can fix nothing else right now. My lawyer isn't going to get the case tomorrow. I'm not getting out of here till bail posts. The party's over. Where to from here? Because we have a lot of time to think right now. So I said, I'm going to go be a DJ. I was friends with so many DJs in New York City as a nightlife artist. I was like a nightlife. Like I said, when you would go to a club like in New York City and you see the really eccentrically dressed people with the white face paint, and they'd have their section in the bottles, and it was like, these are the club kids. That was us. That's where I hung out with. I used to hang out with some of the old club kids like Richie Rich. Did you ever watch Party Monster? I have seen Party Monster, yes. I closed for DJ Kaoki in 2019. Oh wow! Okay. I closed for him at a rave. I was on a record label called Smooth Villain Records, and I had released a couple songs through them, but they liked me more for the DJ roster thing, because I played at another warehouse rave where a friend got me to rent equipment, and the owner of that was the guy I closed for. And he told my friend, "Who's that?" And he's like, "Oh, that's Illsvn." He's like, let's give me his info. And you talk to him, and he started doing a weekly rave cave thing at this warehouse, and I got thrown on. And he's like, produce music. And it's just one thing led to another. And that's how I ended up just growing from there. I was an EDM DJ. How did that change? Well, I was fighting to really be all I can be, as I always do. And I was just getting notoriety everywhere. I was getting booked all the time. People fucked with me. The fact I made my own songs, which you can still listen to on this day on Spotify. I was a music producer. I produced my own songs. I produced the bass, the chords, the drums. I fine-tuned everything. It built up a lot of legitimacy for me. So when New York NYCR, or NYC Ravers, the biggest rave throwing company in New York City, had a contest to DJ their event, you just had to do it by votes. Well, I felt bad for those other DJs, because all the people who had been rooting for me on 15 years at that point, because it was 2019, came out and voted for me. I crushed it. I won the highest person below me was 12. My votes were 61. Wow. Yeah, that's a big difference. Wait. You want to know what month that was? March 2020. No
say, yeah, in the middle of COVID. Check
No.
that out.
2 weeks before COVID. So all my work got pulled out from underneath me. All the work I just told you about was pulled out from underneath me because I can no longer perform.
Sucks.
The song I had, which was actually, I was working on a remix to Jukebox Hero by Foreigner. It was going to be my first remix song, and all of a sudden everything got monkey wrenched. All my hard work went into not nothing, but people were like, well, why don't you do DJ streaming? And I don't want to really stream on a DJ, man. Like, I need to feel like I'm walking on water. Like when you know yourself, you can't dance, and you're just looking down to the decks, and all of a sudden you look up and you see this audience just reacting. It's the closest you'll ever come to feel like you're walking on water, because you're just like, these people are vibing with my shit. They fucking love it. I could actually play some of my songs in there too, but COVID came along and pulled that. And then all of a sudden I was like, I'm not going to lie. Something about me said, make a YouTube, man. I think it's time for you to start, not creating content. Maybe you should give your opinion on it, review horror movies. And that led to the YouTube channel, which has now become, I don't want to say majorly successful. YouTube is a very unforgiving platform. Every minute that talks, hang on, wait 1 second. Let me see something. Do you mind if I just pull out a calculator real quick?
No, go for it.
So let's view. We've been talking for what? We've been talking for an hour. Cool. Yes. And I have no problem talking for many more. Let me see something here. Let me pull out my calculator so a calculator, there's 60 minutes an hour, right?
Correct.
Every minute that passes, 500 hours of content is uploaded to YouTube. So in the time we've talked, exactly 30,000 hours of content has been uploaded to YouTube, to which I stand zero chance of sticking out in. Does that stop me? No, not sticking out is, that's part of the struggle. But that's the uphill struggle a YouTuber has. If you're not investing money into your page, which I haven't gotten to yet, I will. You are ice skating uphill barefoot. And your feet are going to fall off if you don't figure out what the fuck to do, and you're going to be crawling. And that's what led to that. And I was like, I felt like I was like, let's just make things harder as we go along. Let's be a DJ. Everyone's a DJ in New York. That's a rat race. It's like, let me go on YouTube where everyone's on YouTube after COVID. I basically just, followed the rabbit hole. Right. One thing led to another. The YouTube channel was, growing. Now I have established yearly specials. In October, I have Horrorween, which is a month-long celebration of horror movies that take place on or around Halloween. That's in its third year. I have Happy Horror Days, which is the same thing for Christmas. Okay. I have a show coming out called Totally 90s, where we review random things from the 90s. Spoiler alert, the Mortal Kombat movie turns 30 this year, and the Mortal Kombat 2 movie for the new one was just announced, just an idea. PlayStation turns 30 this year as well. It's one of those things where I need to keep growing, because I kind of pigeonholed myself into horror. And now I want to do pop culture. I want to cover the 90s. I want to cover the 80s. I do tech stuff. I did a video where I showed you how to turn a PlayStation 5 controller and make it light up, and modified it.
I saw that.
Oh, you did? Oh, good. I'm glad.
I'm like, wait a minute. I saw that one.
Yeah, that was me. I tried to, it's like gaming, horror, and pop culture. That's what the sticker says that I hand out, the same one that you got. But yet it's only pretty much horror up there, with gaming being on the streaming side. So right. I'm like dancing on the edge of it all, but I really want to do more like gaming content too. I'm a big video gamer. I mean, like, you saw my PC setup. That's not, if I put that PC in my car, the car is worth less. It's a 97 in all fairness, but that's that's my geek thing. Like, I am totally I built it all by myself. It's what I do. I'm a gamer since the 80s. I had to beg my mom to buy me a Nintendo before I could read. Right. And gotcha. So I don't, and it's kind of a curse, because I can't retain information that I read from paper. I can only retain information that I read from screens. And I know you think I'm crazy, but listen to this. I can't rehearse for my films with a piece of paper script. I have to record myself talking, and I have to record my dialogue with expression. And then when I'm doing the other character's dialogue, I bring it down, and I just keep on talking to myself, and I stare at myself in the mirror. And it gets to a point where I remove my audio, and this is very elaborate, but I know how to edit videos. I remove my audio, that would be my lines, and I just leave the person who will be talking in front of the mirror. I can complete it. And when I can do that, I know I've got my lines. And that's why that's why screen time with kids nowadays, I understand, but kids aren't reading a lot of books anymore. Think about it. Most kids are learning to read on an iPad, but it's just fascinating the way it works, that I can't remember something on a piece of paper, but I can remember it if I read it on a screen. What the fuck is that? And then my audio, because of all the years of being a hip hop artist and stuff, audio retention is like something I didn't even know I had until I started doing this like 4 days ago. I thought I was going to struggle like hell to do this. I was like, oh, this is easy as fuck, bro. I have it all pre-recorded. All I have to do is open a file. If I'm on the movie set and I can't remember my lines, I have a private YouTube link where I can just listen to the scene like I just told you, and all of a sudden it'll come right back to me.
That's really cool because it's funny. Some of the things that I've done, the parts that I've had. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I just want to say goodnight, Skull. I just looked in the corner. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah. No worries. Of course. Yeah, I didn't want to pop him up there, but everybody say goodnight to Skull. Love you.
Love you, Skull. Listen, I can't wait to die in your Western.
He is awesome. Well, that's Mortimer. This is
Mortimer.
Skull. So yeah,
Listen,
it's okay.
I have a problem with names. I'm really sorry. That's going to be a problem.
We have Skull. We have Dead Fellow. It gets confusing. It's all good.
Deceased.
Yeah, everybody's dead, but we're here for the life of the party. But with the I don't know if you saw the Troma Now commercial I did as Militia.
Oh,
that was on there. It was for Johnny. I did that, and then I've done some other things. And when I went out to film the Red Huntress series, the lines that I had practiced were not what I needed to do when we got out there. We had to change it. So they were literally telling me, say this, and then I would do it. And it was like so crazy, like that I can do that. Yeah. But if I practice too much, I get in my own head and I can't figure it out, which is why I do the same thing. I record myself doing it and listen to it. And then it's almost like when you learn the new song or, you kind of can remember it that way. So I completely understand that.
Getting in your own head is the worst. I had seen something recently that was like nothing I ever saw before in terms of psychologically psyching oneself out. It was on set and someone was more or less having a problem I had before I figured out this technique. Remember, the technique I told you is not even 3 days old.
Okay.
So, I mean, I just figured it out. I was like, whatever. Mentioning that they were having problem remembering lines. And, I'm like, I was always told, and I hadn't had a line. It's not about the lines. It's about the emotion. At the end of the day, those are just words on the paper. They don't actually want you to say that verbatim. And that's why when I make these recordings, I make sure to say it my way, not on the paper.
Right.
And they had gotten in their own head, and I don't know what happened. I've never seen this before in my life. They got in their own head and gave the most stellar performance you ever saw, to the point when the director yelled cut, the place went nuts. We were like, yeah, because, we were kind of, rooting for them. We don't want to see you struggle. I know it's not easy, just the way they performed was phenomenal. And I told them afterwards, I was like, look, I know you're in your own head right now. If that's what's working, let's finish this up because I think it's great. But you need to figure something out because you're never going to want to do this again. If this is the only way you can operate, like I understand operating under pressure, but operating inside your own head is dangerous. Yeah. It's very counterintuitive and there's nothing you can do once you enter it. It takes a lot to get out of it. And that's why I have this safety net. I will have everything I need in my phone. If there's something that happens, I just, hey guys, give me 2 minutes over here in the corner, rehearse my shit twice. All right, let's go. But it was phenomenal because it was like it was almost like the reverse of what you're supposed to do, not be worried and do your thing. And like, they were just so into it. And to this day, I still tell them when I talk to them, like, bro, that was fucking nuts. I just hope you fix that because that's not healthy. That's what's the cortisol? Is that the thing that you get from the stress? Is that the chemical in your brain? You get dopamine. Yeah.
There's dopamine.
The cortisol level. I don't know how it translated to a confidence level, but it was something else to watch.
That was that adrenaline kicking in is probably what it was.
And it was just like, they would just be kind of nervous, and all of a sudden it's like action, and all of a sudden it was like the scariest thing you ever saw. And like, this is from something you didn't expect. It was insane. But again, getting in your own head is really dangerous, and I'm glad you used that terminology because I probably would have forgot to rant like this otherwise.
And that's what was funny with the one scene that I did. I don't know who in the audience has seen episode 2 of the Red Huntress, but that's the one that I have two characters in, which is really cool. And the one I'm getting attacked, and in between takes, we were just like cracking up and laughing. And then like the director would be, I'm like sitting there being a smart ass. And then it was like action. And I would like immediately turned into screaming, being attacked. Like it was, and it's
nonstop.
You can flip it like that. So
I'm not gonna lie. I really hope I work with you again. I hope we get to do something really cool. If I ever see something where I think, hey, bringing up your name will be a good idea, I think I will absolutely go do that for you. If you want me to ask, how far are you from have you ever been to a Monster Mania or something like that? Or?
I went to Monster Mania Con a few years back with my daughter.
Okay.
So I'm born and raised in Jersey.
Okay, cool.
So I know you're Jersey as well. I'm in PA now, but I'm One's a
You're
Jersey
there.
girl,
Yeah,
Jersey girl.
PA. Like, are you like Canada PA or New Jersey?
Oh no, yeah, I'm Jersey PA. I'm south of Philly now. But yeah, like I moved a lot, but most of my growing up was in Burlington town or county. So
I know what it is. One of my ex-girlfriends is from there. Very, very open-esque area out there. Everything's just so big and open because they're developing, and there's like that one highway that runs through everything. Yeah.
Route 130 is through everything. Yeah. So, but yeah, like I definitely want to go back to Monster Mania Con this year. I won't be nearby when it's happening. I'll be out of state. So, but I definitely want to go back again.
For a year now, and one of them is right in Oaks.
Oh yeah. I was going to go to the Oaks one. I forget why I couldn't this year, but I definitely want to start doing more cons. I'm going to be doing. I don't know if you've heard of the Great Pop. Wait, fuck, I'm going to mess it up now. Delco PopCon in June.
I've heard of this. Yes.
Okay, because this is the first year it's Delco PopCon. It was the Great Media Con, which is why I'm getting confused. So I'm definitely going to be there in June for anybody who is in the area. It's in Aston, PA at Iceworks, and I don't remember the exact date in June, but it's in June. But I want to start doing more of these cons because as I get to meet more people and I get to learn more about the movies, in my book I talk about things I wasn't allowed to do growing up. So I'm kind of tardy to the party when it comes to horror and stuff like that. So I'm very eagerly learning, and I'm so excited to meet everybody and see all the different things going on. So I would love to meet up with you at a con. We're really not that far from each other.
What if we did something a little bit different? You know, I'm going to put it out there right now. I would love to kill you in a stairwell. If you would like to be in a flicker, I'm going to talk to Ron about that.
I would love that.
That would be
and
great.
you are the absolute first person who has ever uttered those words to me.
Well, I'm the first person to utter them. I'm sure you've gotten them in your inbox. Like you've but I would absolutely love to have you meet your demise in a stairwell, and I would love to have that happen. I'm not sure what or when, but
let's make it happen.
Yeah, there's PA cons. There's plenty of places for you to die.
I'm down. I'm down. I'm not far from Cherry Hill, so we can do this.
Yeah, there's Cherry Hill, there's Oaks, there's it's just like a thing we do. Like everyone has their traditions. Like, some people are like, oh, we go to Texas Roadhouse. I'm like, no, we fucking kill people.
I love it.
We stay on brand. People need to die and people need to be entertained. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm in such a as you can tell, I'm in such a wonderful community. I mean, I literally feel like I could do what I wanted to do. And it's funny because I think about, and I hate to bring this up, I think about how people tried to throw dirt on my name not a while back. And it's really a shame for them that I grew into a thorn bush because now I'm a prick that you can't touch.
That's fantastic. I love that. That is fantastic. And that happens. Like I'm, as we go through different seasons of our lives, it becomes more and more apparent who is there for us and who is jealous. And, you just have to do your best for you. And that's,
absolutely.
That's some people wind up being the manure.
It's like, you got to, I don't know, why don't you step on the way up? They're the same ones you see on the way down. Exactly. That type of shit. And it's just something that I'm just happy to be surrounded by 99.9% of great people. There's no such thing as 100% in that instance, but it's great to be surrounded by people that are very open and welcoming to me and my inability to say that I have a lot of experience doing this. But when you tell someone you've been an entertainer for 20 years and you provide them with this resume, and I'm like here and I'm sending them YouTube links from 15 years ago when I rented out a VFW hall to do my first hip hop show because no one else was booking me. I booked my fucking self. You send people that and they're like, whoa, you are the real deal. I was like, I've basically been wandering the fucking desert like forever. It's like, that's what it is. No footprints, just me. Like,
Yep.
It's one of those things where, I'm really happy because I scratched and clawed to get here for 20 years. This is it for me. I guess I should kind of say this is it. When I say this is it, people are like, what do you mean this is it? Like I've been chasing this dream for 20 years. I've tried to meet people that I could coexist with. I've tried to get married. I've tried to meet people. And it's just, this is the only thing now. I have no kids, no wife, no other concerns outside of my small business. But there is no other option for me because I've been doing it for so long. But I couldn't imagine not doing it. I met someone once who put me out of my element and kind of made me feel like maybe I'm too old for this. And that was probably the two most depressing years of my life. And I can never do that again. It was like, I just thought it was time. I was like, maybe, you're 30 something, you have no money to show for any of this. You have no notoriety, this was before the DJ thing picked back up again. And, then COVID took it away from me. It was a point that made me realize I can't give this up because it's all I know. And it's a little crazy to say that because again, there's no other option. Every day I wake up in the room you see me filming. I wake up and I see everything and it has to be this or nothing. Because like I said, I've tried coexisting with other people. I never wanted kids. So that's not a thing that's like in my future. But you know what they say, you don't want kids, but sometimes you have them anyway. So the fact that I'm ace helps me out there a lot.
Okay. Well, there you go. Yeah.
It definitely helps out. And, another thing is, at these cons, you got to really be careful because, when people start thinking you're a little attractive because they see you in some films, you got to gotta be like, hey, we can be friends. It's weird to say that as a guy, but like we can be friends.
But you have to have your boundaries.
You have to stay out of trouble. Make sure you're not, making yourself or the people around you look bad. I've met musicians who were more about getting laid than they were getting to the next song and tore the band apart, ruined their reputation. The band is just known as the band with the guy that wants to screw all the girls in the crowd. And like, yeah, he's talented, but that's not what it's about. It's about the, XYZ, because make advances on someone and they don't want it and you become known for that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that goes around fast, especially in nowadays with the internet and social media. Like as soon as that catches fire, you're done.
Yeah, it's something that like there's nothing wrong with it. There's plenty of people that do it with no ramifications or problems. It's just not a route I want to go down. I don't believe in crossing the wires anymore. A long time ago, I did. Yeah, I was a reckless young man in my 20s. Shit, I didn't just cross wires. I threw fucking buckets of water on the fuse box.
You're like crossing the street.
Replace the whole fucking panel. And that's
the thing. I think everybody goes through that time, and some people absolutely want to continue that. And like I'm going to keep saying it, like I say in my book, if that's what you're about, as long as everyone involved knows that's what to expect, great. Don't lie to people and say, well, I'm only with you. And meanwhile, you're like tasting the whole buffet back here. Like say, I'm a buffet eater. If you want to be one of the dishes, cool. But you're part of the buffet. And then if they decide that's for them, I'll be the mashed potatoes. Whatever, like as long as
I'm a piece of white bread, you're a piece of white bread, your wife's the salami.
Exactly. Hey, I don't kink shame. Whatever you got going on is cool as long as everyone is consenting, age appropriate, and species appropriate. Have at it.
Mm-hmm. That's the truth. It's just you can't like. Sometimes like these people are really funny the way they just talk to me. Like, why don't you just be a whore? I was like, oh, I think about it all the time. Like I think about it. But at the same time, like I said, like the whole ace thing kind of has me like. I don't even know where to go anymore. Like, I need some connection there. And I don't just mean like the flesh to flesh connection, I need
no.
Give me something to sink. I guess, it sounds corny. I'm 39, but give me something to sink my teeth into. Like, like I can't do just the baseless and faceless and then say what a lovely tea party. Yes.
That's amazing.
When you're finished, say mine. What a lovely tea party. I actually just saw Kevin Smith's at the Smod Castle. Kevin Smith has a movie theater.
I have been to Smod Castle.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
and I'm going to get something from there. Hold on one second. You go ahead and talk.
I've been to Smod Castle for Clerks overnight, and then recently I went to Smod Castle for the 30th anniversary of Mallrats.
Yes.
And it's just so funny because you don't know it. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. That film only was in theaters for a week before they pulled it. They were like, absolutely. But I remember wanting to see it. Like, I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. He just tapped into the perfect thing. I was like, in 1995, I was like 9. So like, and that's why as a kid, I would go on to become a mall rat. And when I was 14 years old, it was, get the $1.75 from my mom to take the bus there. And we'll steal quarters out the fountain to take the $1.75 bus back, like assuming we don't get caught. I mean, technically the police car is a free ride home, but we try not to do the red and blue taxi.
You spin it, right?
Yeah, the red and blue taxi service doesn't have the final destination you're looking for. You'll end up home eventually, but
right. Well, funny Mallrats fact: the Route 1 flea market. My brother lived in the apartment across Route 1 from there, and I bought car seat covers in that flea market that is in Mallrats. For those of you who don't know specifically what I'm talking about, that's where they see the fortune teller with the 3 nipples. And she's just like, I sense a great disturbance in your boat.
Yes. Oh, man.
Focus. Yeah, she said focus. Yeah. But here's me and Kevin Smith.
I got something cool from Smodcastle on my 18th birthday. I think that's look at you though. You're cheesing. You're like, yeah.
I'm
Kevin
so
always looks like
cheesing.
he's
Now this is
cool.
us cheesing. Look at him. He's cheesing too.
You look scary as fuck there. What the fuck?
That's me and Kevin Smith at Smodcastle.
I have my birthday pin that he signed. I actually had a come to Jesus moment at Smodcastle. If you want to hear something funny.
Sure.
I went to Clerks Up All Night 2 last year in January, where he played it in 2024, January 2024. My birthday is the 18th. I went on the 20th.
My birthday is the 18th, but in March. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, it's like 2 months away, and we're talking about he's sitting there. We're talking about the fact that this is going to be an all-night affair. He plays all the Clerks movies, talks before them, talks after them, answers questions before both of them, plus the Smodchkin, which is like, I'm sorry, Smodcastle auction, where he sells like awesome one-of-a-kind screen use shit, autographed jerseys, stuff like that. And he was sitting there, and we're asking all these questions to him, right? And I'm having a moment where I got to stress, like, at this point in my life, acting still might not be for me. I've only done Pretty Face. I have not done anything else. My wonderful relationship with Ron Black and everybody that I would come to have at Black Hat Films and the horror cons has not been established yet. I am extremely depressed. I am probably one of the lowest of lows I've ever been in my life, if not the lowest. And I go to see this thing at Smodcastle because it's my birthday. Why should I be sad? I broke up with my girl in December. It's my birthday month. I could have waited. Timing's terrible for me. And one thing led to another, and I'm sitting there, and Kevin Smith is telling me in this very theater, because Smodcastle is the theater he used to go to as a kid, as you know. He's like, in this very theater,
Highlands, New Jersey.
Exactly. This is where I decided I wanted to be this. I wanted to be Kevin Smith. Not Kevin Smith, Kevin Smith. And I'm like sitting there, I'm like, wow, that's some poetic justice, because I think I'm debating the same thing. I'm sitting there and I'm watching these movies, and Clerks 3 comes on. I've never seen it before. I'm fucking a ball and mess by the end of that shit. I had no idea. That was like the death of my childhood. That's when I realized I'm old. Like, I always felt older, but that was the day I felt old, when I was like, holy shit, like sharks in the salsa. Watching them remake the movie and doing that, like, it fucked with me, and I was so low. I was like, damn. And Kevin Smith, I asked Kevin Smith the $1 million question that me and my friends, how much did it cost to film Mallrats in black and white versus color? He's like, excellent question. No one ever answers that. I was like, how the fuck does nobody ask the question we've all been wondering for like 3 decades now? What do you mean? He said at the time he had already put, I think, $17,000 into the film, and $7,000 of it was his own. And in 1994, that was a lot of fucking money.
Oh yeah.
It was all getting swiped. I was once told that Kevin Smith had said, I just swiped it all on the credit card, and if it didn't work out, it didn't work out. But I tried my hardest, and I relate to that, And just the way he comes around, and he's like, the one question nobody ever asked me, though? It was, again, $2,700. Do not color versus color, because he didn't want to change out all the light bulbs in the ceiling, because everything kept showing up green on film because of the lights in the ceiling, because they were those old fluorescent tubes. And they just couldn't get it to look right. So they did it through black and white. And he's like, I love it when people try to give me like an artistic interpretation. They're like, you did it in black and white to show the soullessness of consumer of America. He's like, yeah, sure, why not?
Exactly. That's what you think.
But he said, and this is something I can relate to, because, my journey started 10 years after his. If 1994 is when Mallrats came out, Illsvn stage name is created in 2004. He says, the one question no one ever asked me? And it's like, that's a great question. Was it worth it?
Yeah, that is a great question.
And as a artist, I had to ask myself the same question with no, what's the word I'm looking for? No millions of dollars to my name for my art. No Dogma to my name. No Mallrats to my name. No Jay and Silent Bob. No relatable character that's decades old. Was it worth it for the last 20 fucking years to do this and be forced to get jumbled around because of drug raids and fucking pandemics and shit? Like fuck yes. I'm Illsvn Forek, and I've been Illsvn. I've been Illsvn the Immortal. I've been Illsvn. I've been Illsvn Forek. I was Rocky Lines at one point when I broke into DJing. I didn't want to use Illsvn. I called myself No Talent Tesla, but it was like, this is it. Like, yes, this is worth it. I have $10,000 worth of recording equipment at home. I have a look. I have everything that says this is worth it to keep going, because he's asking, Was it worth it to do everything? Was it worth it to be Kevin Smith? Like, I had to ask myself that question in a different light. Is it worth it to still be pushing 40 and chasing this dream with nothing to show for it in terms of a monetary gain and no notoriety? Because I hadn't been doing shit at the time because I was in my depression from the breakup. And, you know, when you're in a relationship that just isn't working, you don't want to do anything except try to make it work. So I wasn't making new content that much. And it's one of those things where I really was like, that's right, Luna. It was one of those things like, yeah, this is worth it. I'm going to go out and I'm going to go fucking be Illsvn Forek. I went home that night with a new understanding of who I was. And it's funny because Kevin Smith has no idea that what happened in his theater to me is what happened in his theater to him.
That's
and
awesome.
Instead of a movie that wasn't his, it was his movie changing me. And it's very fascinating to see how, like, thank you very much, Music Outcast. It was almost like he was like reaching into your heart and grabbing it, like, got to do it, man. So that's why I was like, it's got to be worth it. And I just went home and I went and I made promo videos for all the movies I was going to be in. I spent a lot of money, like thousands, on these death scenes, plus driving and lodging. I drove as far as Kentucky. Drove with my mom. And then I drove out to Ohio because I don't know what happened. I've been on airplanes before, but I was going to take a plane to Indiana. And literally everything was fine. And then as we stood online to go in the plane after they scanned your ticket, I couldn't get on the plane.
Yeah, that happens sometimes.
So I called up, you know, because they were going to have someone at the airport to pick me up. I texted Paul Allen, the director of Sister Sullivan, the movie I was in. This was my first movie with lines. I said, hey, Paul, listen, I can't make the airline, but it's only a 10-hour drive. I'll be there tomorrow. I drove 10 hours because when you tell Illsvn call time is 10 a.m., I'll fucking be there.
Yes.
If you asked me, you're cool with the travel, you're cool with the lodging, this is not really a paid gig. This is you do this for us and we'll put you in the sequel and we'll talk about that from there type of thing.
Yep.
So I was really like, okay, you know, I gave my word to this man. I'm going to go drive 10 hours across the fucking country and chase this dream because that's what we do. That's what we do. We put our big boy pants on and we go in the car and we drive 10 hours in the pouring rain there and back, to the point where if my mom knew the conditions I was driving in, she probably would have died more before I would have. And, you know, I lost plane ticket money, $450 down the drain, plus all the gas on the way there. I was driving a V6, so it wasn't the best. It wasn't the worst. But whatever the fuck it took, I'm going to do it because I told myself, is this worth it? Of course it is.
Absolutely. And that's what you need to do to make your dream come to life. And I love that you had that experience with Kevin Smith, because my Smod Castle experience was what you were talking about with the auction. One of my friends from high school, his wife got the private screening for his 50th birthday. So in March, we went and watched The Breakfast Club with Kevin Smith, who did Q&A before and after.
That's so cool.
I'm showing the picture again because I love this man, and
I love how he's like wearing a nice white suit but still has a backwards like baseball cap on. And like,
he's Kevin Smith, 100%. And the thing is, he signed these because these were pictures of my phone. And then in December, I went to, it's the largest food drive in the country. It's called Camp Out for Hunger. Do you know WMMR at all in Philadelphia, the rock station?
Can't say I do. I'm sorry, but
that's okay. Yeah. The morning show does this food drive every year, and it's awesome. The largest one in the country. And I've gone the last 2 years, and I went on Tuesday, and they're like, "Well, Kevin Smith's going to be here Thursday." I'm like, "Guess who's coming Thursday?" So I printed out the pictures, went and saw him, and when I met him at Smodcast, I gave him a copy of my book. And when I saw him at Camp Out, I'm like, "Oh, I was just wondering, you know, I gave you a copy of my book. Have you had a chance to read it?" He's like, "Oh, hell no."
Like, I mean, listen, man, he's honest. I mean,
exactly. I was like, I appreciate your honesty. I'm like, I know you travel a lot. He's like, yeah, well, when I'm on a plane, I'm like, me. I said, okay, that's fair. You know, you're always right the next day. But that's what I love about him is he's so real and he's just so nice and takes the time. Jersey. He's 100% Jersey. He sat at the Camp Out. He had to go do an interview. He came back and let everybody that was there waiting in line. He did not leave until he talked to everybody. He's awesome. Yeah, and when I first saw Clerks, my best friend showed me, you know, VHS back in the 90s. And she's like, come on, we got to go to the store. And I'm like, all right, we're going to go get cigarettes, you know, whatever. And we're passing Wawas and Quick Checks and did you see some cute guy and we're going to a specific Wawa? Like, we're pull up in front of the Quick Stop. I was like, shut the fuck up. I just saw this on my TV and now I am in the store. It was so cool. And then in January, I don't know if you can see it. That's me and Brian O'Halloran.
With Brian O'Halloran, why does that name? As soon as you finish
he was
the name,
Dante.
Oh,
in
duh.
Clerks.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's why I was like, I should know that. I'm terrible with names, by the way. I think the only reason I
it's
know
all
your
good.
name is because I read it. You can tell me my name. As I just said, I have great audio retention, and now I'm counteractive. I will take a day or two to remember someone's name. Like,
It is all good. But yeah, I was an extra, and it's called Delco the Movie. I don't
Nice.
know if you know Leah Savoli. She was in Deadwood. She was the voice on Robot Chicken, and she's
Really?
a local
Okay.
girl around here. And she asked my husband to cater the movie. So as kind of like payment for that, I got to meet Brian O'Halloran and be in the scene with him in a church, which was pretty funny.
That's badass.
So shout out to Leah. That was cool.
Oh, that's cool. Nothing better than getting the hookup from a friend. Friends help friends. You know, it's all about the
all
synergy.
ships rise. I'm telling you. So, but yeah, that was pretty cool. So in the movie, okay, I've got a couple more questions because we are like at an hour and a half, which is really cool because it feels like
this happens on every podcast I'm on. I never shut the fuck up.
It's
that's Ron Black.
Yeah. So if you had to pick one, what is your favorite movie of all time?
Favorite movie of all time. I'm always so busy thinking about my favorite horror movie that I don't know if I've ever thought about my favorite movie of all time.
That's what I mean. It doesn't have to be horror. It can be anything.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. My favorite movie of all time. That's a really tough one. That's going to be something like, I don't know. That might be like up there with like maybe an Edward Scissorhands or something like that.
Okay.
That was a really, really powerful movie. I watched that kid as a kid. And I had no idea. I would go on to like kind of like I think that's where my fascination with the darkness started, was Edward Scissorhands. My favorite pro wrestler was Jake the Snake, and then it was Undertaker, to give you an idea of how on brand that is. I want to say that was probably one of my favorite films as a kid. I can remember being obsessed with it. Talking like in the preschool days. It was a movie that kind of shaped who I am, because I was once that quiet, shy boy who looks like he might hurt you. Like I told you before, people have been like, you look scary as fuck.
Right.
That even to this day. And, you know, I think that's probably my favorite movie, if I had to give it to you outright, is Edward Scissorhands.
Okay. We have Mortimer chiming
The Crow. Very nice.
That is very cool.
Favorite horror movie is Evil Dead, but go on.
Okay. See, I like Evil Dead 2.
And that's how it always goes when I say Evil Dead is my favorite horror movie.
Yeah, like I love Evil Dead 2. I love Army of Darkness. I did meet Bruce Campbell. He called me a vile woman. I am so proud of that.
Mind waiting 1 second? I got something I want to show you real quick.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Luna loves Evil Dead 2 as well. I was so thrilled when I first saw it because, that is fucking awesome.
I 3D printed the Evil Dead cabin. This is a 3D print.
That is fantastic.
It's autographed by Sam, and there's room down there for Brucey.
Yes.
Evil Dead logo is 3D printed. Opening door. And hang on, wait. Fucking battery. There's a green light in here that goes off, and it's awesome. But yeah, this is a 3D printed cabin, and I love Evil Dead. I mean, it is my favorite thing of all time. It was great because you print this in sections. You print the chimney, you print the roof, you print everything. It was thank you very much. It's one of my favorite horror things. I also have like other I don't know if you've ever seen my 3D print videos, but I just post them for content.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fun. You know, I like it. But yeah, this is my baby. I'm just waiting for Bruce, and then this is getting a layer of clear over it.
Yes, absolutely. We have a vote for Pirates of the Caribbean as well.
Pirates of the Caribbean is a great movie. That whole series was great. I know when they bring it back, it won't be what it used to be, and I'm okay with that, but it'll still be a lot of fun.
You have to have Johnny Depp in it. It's not going to be the same without him.
Listen, when it comes,
fantastic.
The fact you said Johnny Depp and my mom didn't just like appear behind me, like with like the cloud behind her, like
where is he? Well, you said Edward Scissorhands first, so we're having a whole Johnny Depp conversation.
Yeah, that's why I had to like look over. I was like, he who shall not be named. She loves her some Johnny Depp. Fortunately, allegations are out there, so I try not to, talk too much about Johnny Depp. The whole thing. So he's a little controversial.
You're going to say it again. It's going to be like Candyman. He's just going to show up.
Yeah.
Well, actually, on the Saturday podcast, there's a guy named Babylon, and we say his name 3 times, and he shows up like Candyman.
Really? Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I wish Babylon was on here tonight. But yeah, I met Bruce at the book signing for, I think, his second book, and I was wearing my Army of Darkness shirt, which is him holding up, the gun with "This is my boomstick," and he said,
"Screwheads, it's my boomstick.
You want to kill me, now you want to kiss me."
Sounds like all my relationships.
It's pillow talk, baby. So he was like, "Nice shirt," And I was like, well, not everybody gets to be on my tits. And so that's when he was like, you are a vile woman. So
Yeah.
I'm proud of that.
You want to hear? I'll tell you a quick story about Evil Dead.
Sure.
Army of Darkness. I did not know what it was when I watched it. I was at my grandmother's house and she had every channel with the old 90s illegal cable black box. And I was watching something on Cinemax and then it went into Army of Darkness. And I was like, yo, this is fucking wild. And for probably the better part of 10 years, I had no idea it was a part of this grand-esque series. Like, and then I would play Duke Nukem. I don't know if you ever played Duke Nukem 3D, but he uses a lot of lines from it. Hail to the king, baby. Like, I was like, oh, this is something I should know about. Yeah, exactly. Right. Like that whole thing. I was like, yo, there's Evil Dead lines in here. I was like, oh, okay. Well, Army of Darkness. And then when I saw Evil Dead, I was like, this is my favorite horror movie ever.
Yes.
This is what happens when you fucking just like Evil Dead is basically the mindset of Black Hat Films, which I never would have been able to. I just came to that conclusion right now. Yes, Ash is the Al Bundy of horror hero movies. That's fucking perfect.
Yes, that is perfect. I love him when he's like, goody little two shoes. Goody little two shoes. That is so funny. I have to go watch that.
I think that's what I liked about the first. It was just raw. Like it was just raw. Like it looks like something we can make. It looks like me, you, and Black Hat Films can make Evil Dead today.
Yes.
Quite easily if we just found a cabin.
Yes.
The only thing is they actually dug out that basement themselves. That cabin did not have a basement. They made it themselves.
Oh my gosh. That's
yeah,
great.
It was a long.
I'm looking over here because I have my Funko Pop of Ash and my little where he's coming out of it. My headphones aren't going to make it. So I'll show you guys later.
Yes, but absolutely. I love those movies. Though that's my favorite horror movie. That's my favorite horror movie for you.
Okay. That's cool. Yeah, I think I have like several favorites, but Rocky Horror Picture Show, which is right back there, is definitely one of my favorites. I go monthly to see it live with the live cast still. Cool. Love it. Yes. Shout out to Formal Dress Optional. They're the live cast. They are amazing. If you are in the Wilmington, Delaware area, every last Friday of the month, you can go see it. $10. It's a deal. So yeah, let's see. I get to tell Ted he will always be my Henrietta. I get to tell Ted. Sweet Henrietta. I know who Henrietta is, but I don't.
Why not call him Ted Rihanna?
Maybe.
That's how autism works. Sorry.
It's all good. It is all good.
I met really quickly to give you another idea of that. I met a guy named Fred on set for Swine and Dine. He was the other guy who purchased the Get Killed by Mark Haynes perk. And like to give you an idea of how bad it is with this shit, he's like, "Hi, I'm Fred," and I look at the back of his truck, and he has Red Rum written on his truck, and without even hesitating, I'm like, "You're now Fred Rum." He's like,
I love that. Okay, Ted's the actor who played Henrietta. I knew a man played Henrietta, but I didn't know the name of the actor. So thank you, Luna and Mortimer, for clearing that up, because I'm like, who the hell's Ted? That's a bear. That's a movie with the his name just Mark Wahlberg, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is actually. Yeah, it is.
That's so funny. All right, so what is on your bucket list still? You were saying you're kind of like you reached where you wanted to be, but what is still on your dream vision board?
So the vision board is I was supposed to have this happen last year, but I'll tell you what, I need to get killed by Felissa Rose.
Okay, that's fair.
Felissa Rose almost gave me my untimely demise, and what happened was, and I'll run over this real quick, I had purchased a perk to get killed by her for a film. The filming date was set. Filming date becomes the release date of Stream. Felissa Rose is in Stream. She can't make the movie anymore. She got to do the press tours for Stream. So the same guys that I just love to death so much kind of got me to not get my goal because they had to go do. But I'm not salty about it. I'm just saying it's just so funny because for all that the Terrifier crew has given me in terms of acceptance and again, lightly given me, like just like the acceptance, they know who I am. They, some of them come up to me and high five me at cons. And I'm like, holy shit, you know who the fuck I am. And it's just like for the magic of our good Lord and Savior, Ronald Black, that we have such abilities, everybody. And it's just so fascinating because like I don't take it. Like obviously nobody knew, right? Like I got the shooting date back in like February for August. Nobody knew. And then all of a sudden it was like, well, blood in, blood out. That's ironically enough, Kelsey ended up getting Felissa Rose's part, and that's how we met Kelsey, who ended up being in our film. Things fall apart so they can fall together. And it's my goal. And it was one of those things where I know it's going to happen, and I came within reach of it, but it's okay because last minute, literally 2 months before the year ended, the Mark Haynes thing happened, and I still got my, it was cool. I got killed by a new guy in horror versus an established head, and I'm not a small man. Mark Haynes makes me look small. Like not many people do that to me.
Right.
And that's just inside the bathroom. When we're outside the bathroom, he makes me look small too. You know what I'm saying? Like,
hey. I don't even know what to say about that, but all right.
He's a solid dude, and that's no pun intended.
I was gonna say, how did you get to learn about it that bad?
It's on my bucket list to get killed by her. I'm already a creature in Flickr, but I would like to get a creature feature in another realm, because I'm like, I have a lanky build, but now that I go to the gym, it's kind of lanky. I'm like a little bit more built, and it's cool because you have that halfway point. I jokingly say I'm a halfway point between Jason Voorhees and David Howard Thornton. That is my body type. And I don't know how long it's going to stay like that, but I know as long as my arms are long, they'll never look stocky. So I'm like trying to figure out. I would like to do more creature stuff. I absolutely would like to have more roles that are a little bit more accommodating to being somebody besides myself. There's somebody who's working on something really cool that you would like. I'm not gonna lie. When this happens and I show it to you, you're gonna be like, no fucking way. And all my friends who knew me from way back in the day are gonna be like, I can't even imagine this for you. And that's what I'm excited for, because I want to be challenged. I want to be, pushed. I want to hold the record for the most amount of kills in the indie horror scene. And if Flickr works out like it's supposed to, because they're only 5-minute shorts, I should have that sooner than not.
Oh, I want to be on your list of kills.
That's what I said. Come Monster Mania.
That's why I'm like, I'm saying it again. I'm manifesting this shit.
Oh yeah, you're gonna bleed. You're definitely gonna get fucking poked, and not like in a good way. But like,
that's why I'm like, keep talking about this bathroom.
I said you're gonna get poked, and not in a good way.
That's why I'm like, wait a minute.
But like, maybe this way, the Flickr kills are no joke. Like they're gory. Like my mom had her intestines ripped out. I had a fountain of blood come out my throat.
That's what I want to do.
Really cool. Yeah, let me tell you this way. I will absolutely, because I know Black Av is watching this. Obviously, they would love to have you. I'm sure they
mutilate me.
Mutilate you.
Hashtag mutilate me. That'll get me censored real quick.
But the thing is, like, the thing I'm really excited for is Ron is working on the new Flickr suit. And it's really fucking creepy. Like it makes me like unnerved when he sends me work in progress videos. So we're about to upgrade that, and I'm really excited. And I think the final goal I have is the channel to grow. That is my baby. That is what I do. That's like not all I do, but it's it's this epic center, and I want to use it because the more it grows, the more I grow, and the more projects around me grow. I almost feel like if I keep going the way I'm going, I might transcend everything I'm trying to do and become like someone people come to get into it, and not to put it's a terrible analogy, but the way you could see Hulk Hogan and that might get you into wrestling if you're like that appeals to you, when you were a kid the first time, well maybe not you, but the first time I saw Hulk Hogan I was like, oh, what the fuck is this guy? I don't want to watch it.
I used to watch the WWF cartoon back when it was WWF and not WWE. Like, yeah,
that was me too. I was a huge fan in the 90s. I was there when they almost closed their doors because they had nobody in the mid 90s. It was just like Bret Hart and the Undertaker were the only people that could keep the lights on. Yeah. And it's just, again, it's one of those things where I'm just like, I want people to feel like that. I remember thinking I wanted to have my finger on the pulse, and I realized that's not what I want. I was thinking about doing podcasts where I interview people. I was thinking about, because I had my finger on the pulse, and that's when I started realizing like what I'm ultimately trying to do, become this. I can't do it like that. I can't be the one asking the questions. I have to be the one answering them if I want to do what I want to do. Right. There's a ceiling and I'm not saying this disrespectfully, there's a ceiling in what you do, and your ceiling is as high as you want it to go. With me, it's like I could really, really just, if I get the right type of traction, I can not use people, but these podcasts really help me get out there and get people to come and check the stuff out. Like, oh, he's in the indie horror scene. Just have people be like, what's the indie horror scene? The same way they're like, that's Andre the Giant. He's in WWF. What's WWF? Because Hulk Hogan's a poor name to use. Andre's really the one who made it what it was and passed the torch to Hogan.
R.I.P.
Yeah, passed the torch to Hogan at WrestleMania 3. But, it was just like, and it sounds crazy to say that, but I want to have it to the point where I'm like, people are like, yeah, he's part of the indie horror scene. He's got a YouTube channel, but That's like the tip of a crazy fucking iceberg. I used to be bothered because like even you maybe when I reached out to you, you're like, it took you a while. I'm sure you're like, I'm not sure exactly what you do. Like, could you elaborate a little bit? Like it seems like you do all these things. Like you're a YouTube guy, you're, a Twitch streamer, you're an actor. Like, what is it that I need? What am I marketing you on? Like, what am I going to tell people about you when you're on my show? And that's why.
Well, my favorite part is this because we had so much fun.
Oh
we
my
had
God.
so much fun. Like
it was so much fun. I can't wait for the next one. And Ronald Black Hat Films was going to come, but they had another film that they were doing for another project, so they couldn't make it. But it was absolutely the most fun I've ever had, and I hope to have that much fun with you again in the future, whether or not we're blood covered. But if things go the way with Flickr, we should both be blood covered.
That's amazing. And it's so funny because after the shoot was over and I have another picture, it's just my face like that. And somebody told me that I looked like the burger patty that fell into the grill. And I'm like, I really do. I look like a Whopper.
Can you pull that picture up one more time? There's my favorite thing about that.
Yeah.
Wait, I want to show you my favorite thing about it.
There you go.
Just look at your face. Like that is the face of someone who's having the time of their fucking lives.
That's
like,
me and Uncle Lloyd. I was so happy.
I mean, and it's like you got a great smile to begin with. I mean, like those are the pearly. Just be able to see how pearly those whites are amidst all that shit. Like, damn, girl, slay. Like
that was just, like, so fun.
You were just the happiest person ever. And remember the opera singer? That was fucking great. Oh man.
Oh my gosh, she was amazing.
She's cool. I actually keep in touch with her. She's very, very nice.
Yeah, and I met Dana there. She was fantastic. Mm-hmm. And her husband Blair, like just like what we were saying earlier, the community is so amazing. It is just real people, and it's refreshing to be around real people.
Absolutely.
It's phenomenal. So yeah, and then I have a picture of you and Johnny too.
I love Johnny. Oh man, what a great guy. We were talking about how the Misfits. I don't know if you overheard, but my mom went to high school with the Misfits. Robo used to babysit me. Jerry only held me while I was being baptized. I used to play with Robo's son, Vincent, who I believed was in the Cro-Magnums now. Jerry only's son was like a kid I played with. He's in a band or was in a band called Fallen Angel. So it's just so funny because I'm sitting there telling him, be like, yeah, man, it's too funny. You're into the Misfits. And, everyone's got a story with the Misfits in New Jersey. All right. Like everybody and their mother, but my mom went to high school with them. Like, Jerry's wife was Aunt Linda to me. Like that's the level we were at. Like once upon a time.
So cool.
That's
awesome to have those stories.
Yeah. And, again, this is in the 80s. This was a very short period. I don't even think, I think we had all moved on our separate ways in terms of not being with by the time I was 5, but it was just crazy because I had no idea that my babysitter was the drummer for the Misfits. I had no idea like who these people were. And like, my mom was leaving me with this like tattoo covered fucking dude who was just the nicest guy in the world. Robo, I'm talking about, of course. Yeah. And it's just so funny because you look back on it and you're like, wow, that's not a story I even believe. And I was there.
Wow. Like I have pictures of it, but I can't believe it. And it's funny. I know I keep referencing the Saturday show, but Kyler Skull, who was on earlier, is afraid of Glenn Danzig's nipples because they're kind of lazy. So we will attack him with like this picture of Glenn Danzig topless with his like lazy nipples. So
man, speaking of nipples, you see Swine and Dine. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm in now. There's nips. I am so in now.
There's not just nips. There's a lot of nips. Like, and they're not on a human. Like, no, they're on a human, but it's a lot of them. Like, let me put it this way: what you saw on Mallrats, fucking amateur hour.
Okay, so we're all gonna have to fuck us.
Oh, there's gonna be lots of fucks. Let me tell you, there's so many of them. I was like, I didn't know you could put that many nipples on someone. Like,
wow. Well, you don't know until you try. You gotta give it a try.
And I should stress Kevon Ward, the special effects guy in Swine and Dine, who I totally glossed over, murdered it. My death scene, the blood coordination, the tubes running, prosthetics, the way Mark Haynes looked with the full-on prosthetic on his face. I had his throat slit prosthetic. Damn it. Mark Haynes had a facial prosthetic with like the nipples and shit like that. It was something else. I can't wait. For you.
Oh wow, that sounds awesome. Actually, I cannot wait to check that out. That is so cool.
It is a very perky film.
Mortimer says, "Yeah, it sounds like a very perky film." Yeah.
Kevon Ward is phenomenal. He was flown out from California and brought his little airbrush kit and made everybody look fucking awesome.
That is awesome. it's such a talent. Like I said, Mortimer does special effects phenomenally, and Hilario, who did my latex prosthetics for the Red Huntress, was amazing. So I want to do that's something on my bucket list is to do more roles where I get to play with prosthetics and like have things chopped off and slit. And, like that was so fun.
Yeah, it's something that prosthetics are a double-edged sword because I actually worked with someone who was getting a prosthetic put in because their eyeball got squashed out, and they found out that they have an anxiety disorder when they have their eye covered. They started kind of started, getting a little tense, not freaking out, but getting tense. And the makeup artist, who was actually Robert Bravo, another individual who is a fucking powerhouse in this scene and hosts master classes, which you should all check out for how to do his talent, was so like on point to make sure that like this person was comfortable. Like the scene takes place on the floor, and right outside the frame is like Robert just sitting there making sure everybody's comfortable. Like, it's all good. Don't worry about it, man. As soon as this is done, we'll take it right off. And he was the one who pointed out to me, I was like, is this like a claustrophobia thing? He said, yes, it's a claustrophobia thing. I was like, okay. And he's like, it's also a mental thing. But the claustrophobia thing is what I dwelled on, because I was like, how would this affect me? He's like, I think you would do good with that kind of makeup, but I think a full face cast would probably send you into the fucking orbit if you didn't take a Xanax or something first.
Well, that's completely different, having your entire face.
Yeah. But it's interesting to see, people just might not be ready for what's happening. Just no one saw it coming. It's just all of a sudden they were like, I don't know what's wrong.
They didn't see it coming because they got their eyeball ripped out.
No.
Which is funny because, not to, spoiler alert. So if you haven't seen episode 2 yet, that's what happens to me. But the cool thing was, like having the thing was really fun watching the process.
Yeah.
But I wasn't asked which eye because I guess they needed to know, for angles and whatever.
Yeah.
So it was my right eye. Well, I wear a close-up contact and a far-away contact. They're basically like bifocals.
Oh.
So it was on my right eye, and I can't see far away with my left eye. So I was essentially blind on set I'm like, and I have a hearing impairment. So if I can't see you talking, I can't hear you. So here I am, like basically Helen Keller now with my prosthetic because I can't see it. I'm like, if you're telling me to do something and I'm not responding, yell at me. I can't hear you. It was so funny. Okay. So I had to catch the Uber to the airport. I filmed my scene and I had to go. So they ripped the latex off of me. And I keep saying I look like Braveheart, only the red sunburned version. And I had to go through security in the airport like that. And everybody's looking at me. I'm like, well, what are you going to say? I look like I fell asleep.
Yeah, okay. Not setting off any detectors. You're just setting off a few concerns.
Right. So I get home, and that night I go to bed and I take my contact out, and it was stained red. It looked like one of those like red hard-boiled eggs, like the beets. I'm like, I probably shouldn't have had that in my eye, but I would 100% do it again. It was so fun. I loved it. It looked fantastic, and I love watching the creation. Watching the art is so fun.
I always tell people, one thing I always say is, really quickly, when it comes to contacts, though, I'll say this real quick. I wear scleras, like the full blackout contacts.
Oh, okay.
The ones you have to lift your eyelid up to like slide in because they won't fit normally. It's so funny because people ask, can you see in them? I was like, I can see in them, but the problem is when your pupils dilate, they're not dilating. They're still looking through this tiny hole through the contact. And I was like, I can actually see, but if you ask me to read, I have to like stand at like not too close. I now understand what being near and farsighted might be like, because I've had the privilege of, knock on wood, good vision.
Okay.
And it's just, again, it's something like that. But what were we just talking about before that? My apologies.
We were talking about prosthetics and makeup and how you would be claustrophobic in a full mask.
What I want to talk about, the most important thing is I'm an in front of camera performer. I am going to start working with Blackout Films and being a little bit more behind the scenes on the creative process. But I am a in front of the camera performer. That is what I've always meant to be. I've known this since I was making people laugh in in middle school by swallowing quarters. I am a born.
That sounds dangerous.
It was, but you know what? People were like, yo, this is cool. Like, I was like, oh, cool. Like I like entertaining people. I'm fucking weird. I was weird as hell anyway. I was a Marilyn Manson fan. Might as well eat the quarters. But the people behind the camera are so important in making sure that I have almost the easiest job on set. I just need to sit there, remember my lines, and wait for action and cut while everyone behind the camera makes sure that it works so smoothly that that's all I need to worry about is my dress up, me and my dress up, being who they want me to be. And they are so pivotal to that. It's not even funny. Like, you know, when I'm sitting there in my death scenes and someone's got, you know, fluids coming out of me, I know I can be as animated as possible because this is a professional apparatus. The person behind me has made it so that way I can be animated. Whereas if it was me, I'd probably throw a piece of duct tape on it and wonder why it fell off all the fucking time or something. Like, or whether it's the lighting guy, the sound guy, the person who's reading the script and finds a continuity error. And they're like, whoa, we have to, like, what's this? Like, you have a script supervisor whose whole job is literally just to make sure the script has continuity. You just they're almost like depending on how many people wrote it, they're like an extra head that's like, hey, and those people are really important. And the reason why I'm stressing that is I had a death scene where I was on the floor. I almost went home early, but I wanted to stick around to watch the performances of these actors because they were like kind of big names. And, you know, you never turn down a free opportunity to watch the masters. And all of a sudden she goes, whoa, wait. Why? He's supposed to still be here. Like, he needs to be on the floor. Like, he's supposed to be dead. Like, we can't film this scene like this unless he's dead. And just like that, someone caught something that no one else caught. They were ready to film this. They might have even done a take without me on the floor. And then all of a sudden they're like, whoa, wait. He needs to be on the floor. Like, I would have never known that. I was just an extra. I didn't get it. Oh no, I got a script eventually, but you know, I wouldn't have thought of that. Even if I got the script, it doesn't say that I'm still lying on the floor. This individual assessed the situation and was like, wait, you know, like something that's not right. He needs to be on the floor because why is she walking freely through the room with a dead body on the floor? Wouldn't we notice the dead body? And you know, and it was like, it's something like that. It's things like that that really make it happen. From the person who brings the coffee to the person who brings things like that to people's attention. It's all about the people behind the camera. I'm telling you.
Absolutely.
I owe so much to every person behind every camera that's ever made it so that way all I have to do is just pretend.
Yes.
You know, because they're not pretending, they are, as I like to say. I am pretending, they are being real. You know, the camera battery is real. That shit is all happening. The camera, the mic, it's all so perfectly done to the point where it's like, I don't got to worry about nothing, and that's cool. And the reason why I'm stressing this is you're like, where are you going with this? That's alien to me. I'm a YouTube guy. I do the audio, I do the video, I do the special effects, I do the editing, I do the color correction. By the way, thanks to Ron Black for teaching me color correction. You know, I do everything by myself, and it takes fucking forever. And it's just like, you know, if there's something wrong, like, you know, if the mic isn't working on set, it's like, okay, cool. We'll stand around until I fix the mic. The mic's not working here. I might have to break a sweat and fix it. And now I don't look the same as I did before.
Yep.
And that's
doing it all yourself too. You got to make sure that you're checking that, because like, I've had things where I've done an entire project and then I play it back and there's no audio.
So and that's like, to give you an idea here. I'll show you. If you look up here, I have 2 lights for this. And then I have 2 lights over here, which you can't see because my camera's all fucked up. But I mean, like, I have a full studio setup aimed at me right now. And that's why I look like I look, because I've been doing this for so long that I know how to set it up like this. Yep. And it's just, it's fascinating when you know that that's what's going on behind the scenes, to just be like, I don't have to worry about that. Like, just go, like, and like someone's going to tell me what to do. Like, the first time I portrayed Flicker, I was kind of working against the monster's mannerisms. Like, my behavior was not what the monster was. And, you know, Ron was like, no, you need to think about it like this, man. Like, you know, and finally I found a way to do it. The Flicker basically appears the same way Undertaker appears when you talk shit in the ring about him. The bell tones, the light goes off, the lights go on, and there is a 6'10" man standing behind you, ready to remind you shouldn't have said all that, with long hair, looking scary as fuck.
Gotcha.
So that's how Flicker operates. But I was so like, hut, like on my shit, like, put me in the game. No, and Ron's just like,
it's like, that's not, no. That's great. I love it.
And I can't wait to do that again, because I've only done it once, and we did 2 kills, but there was a lot of complications, certain blood things, certain effects weren't going off, certain things. I was still new to it. The cloak I bought kind of blocked shots a little bit. It was a learning process, but the footage is usable, and it's all part of trusting someone with your music IP. Oh, Music Outcast, that's another guy. By the way, you guys need to check out the Music Outcast. You can find him on Bandcamp and I believe Spotify. He does The Imposter's Tale, which is an EP he's releasing right now. Again, the Music Outcast, spelled exactly how it looks, but with spaces between the names.
Nice.
He handles the music for my streams, because my streams, I had a problem where I was using this Friday the 13th Part 3 music. I think you might know the one I'm talking. It's like, dum, 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 and it was like it was like this like kind of upbeat version of the Halloween of Friday the 13th. And I guess because Friday the 13th was stuck in that, I don't know if you know, but there's a huge lawsuit with Friday the 13th that they're just starting to resolve.
No, I didn't know.
I think because of that, no one was searching for copyright issues. That's why the Friday the 13th game went down as well. It wasn't because they abandoned it. It's because of the lawsuit caused everything involved with the IP to be halted. And more or less from there, we had the whole idea of, wait, sorry, got a cramp. Hang on.
I'm sorry. That's awful.
I don't know what happened.
This is real life, folks. When you get on Learning Go-Go, the podcast, we don't hold anything back.
And I'm sorry, what was I just discussing with you?
Or Friday the 13th Part 3 wasn't being copyrighted because.
Oh yeah, that's right. And I was using this song and everything was fine, and I was like, okay. And then all of a sudden, I got a copyright strike. I was like, oh no, I'm like a copyright strike at my level isn't a problem. I'm not making money off of this, but that's a problem in general that I don't want because they start muting the audio on your shit. Hey, what's up in Malta? Yeah, hey. That's a long drive. Very nice.
That's awesome. I thought that was somebody you know.
It might very well be.
Okay,
I'm not sure.
Welcome.
But
welcome.
Yeah, it's absolutely one of those things where I was having this problem. A Music Outcast is really talented and let me use his music he was already watching my streams. And he's like, well, you can use my music. I'm like, oh, thanks so much. And to give you an idea of how talented Music Outcast is, because he's a younger man, I believe he's in 20 or 21. His music is so good that at my stream, he met another individual who he's doing music work for on their video game server. This individual does video game mods. And what happened was Music Outcast music is so good at his young age that my friend Slay No More gets a notification that he has a copyright strike. And I'm like, a copyright strike for Music Outcast music? Turns out someone had taken Music Outcast music and copywritten it under their name. And because when apparently, I believe the story goes, when Slay No More went up to Music Outcast and said, is this your company or something? Like, no idea. And Music Outcast had to go and like basically fight to get his music back. And I want you to be aware, they don't do that for shitty music. They do that when your music is really good. And the other thing about him that's fucking crazy is you can make a synthwave song like he can make a rock song. I asked him for some synthwave stuff just because that's where the new vibe of LTV is. We're going to be neon and synthwave. Like in our looks and our aesthetic, very 80s, 90s neon type shit. And he just like pulled out this thing. I was like, are you fucking serious? Like, bro, because I was using a rock song that he had before called Into the Wild, which was on the Imposter's Tale EP. And it was great. But once we switched over to synthwave, I was like, I kind of got to get rid of this. I'm sorry. It just doesn't fit. And he's like, oh, he's like, yeah. And there he goes. Right. Music Outcast. That was weird as shit. I still don't know the full story. I remember talking about it, but I was like, damn, man, like, I always knew the kid had promise, but I didn't know he had like hijack his shit and like make money off of it promise that young, because I'm not familiar with that level of talent that young. And he is just phenomenal. If you have any music needs, that's the dude to talk to. Very flexible, very willing to do anything. I love the Music Outcast to death. He is a pivotal part of the IllTV streams when I do them. Again, I'm sorry we're delayed right now, Music Outcast. I just gotta do the Hollywood thing. Be a superstar.
Well, it's funny because my theme song for this show, my brother wrote. Like he created it forever ago, my older brother. And he, you know, when I was like, I need a theme song, I don't want to get copyright, you know, and everything. So
yeah, you don't need trust me. You don't.
Every week I post it, and every week I get a copyright flag in India because somebody stole it and says that it's theirs, like you're saying. And
that's crazy.
I'm just like, okay, if one day I am super popular in India, I'll worry about it. But for now, I don't care that I'm not, you know, they're not playing my theme song in India. I don't care. But it's the same thing. It's like, write your own damn music and stop stealing other people's music.
Honestly, and like, you know, I actually, and I what's it called? I wanted to try this because I wanted to see what it could do. And please don't worry, Music Outcast. It was just experimental. I created for the Totally 90s, I tried an AI creation song just to see what it was like. And it's impressive. But what's really impressive is how much like the Music Outcast is basically like on the level. And I mean this in a good way of these songs I'm getting from like this. I was like, Jesus Christ. So that's why I'm really excited to keep working with him. And he's a young man, so he has a lot of
a lot
of free time. And you know, as things get more and more, I look forward to him getting income from this, because right now he's, you know, kind of being like, you can use my music, it's on my EP, it's just going to advertise my EP. But you know, when it comes time to do custom stuff, of course, you know, people need to be paid for their work, and I like to stress that about anybody I recommend. You know, like, I'm When free pays the bills, all right, let's do it. Like, like I remember I was telling someone, everyone in the indie horror scene does stuff kind of for free, because when you all know we're not making money, we're having Indiegogo's to raise like 10, 20, 30, $40,000, because if we had the money ourselves, we'd do it. And it's just something it's like nothing else. I can't explain it. It's
playing with your friends.
That's it's playing with your friends. And you got it. And no one charges for it. But when I was a DJ in New York City, it's like if you told the DJ I'm paying you an exposure, it's like, that's great. I'm not paying your hospital bills. And they're like, what do you mean? Get your fucking ass kicked. Let me try paying my rent with exposure. It doesn't work. Do you got any money? I sure hope you do. Right. Meanwhile out here it's all love. It's not New York City, that's for sure.
Awesome. Well, I am so excited that you came on here with us tonight. And again, like, the time has just flown. Is there anything else that you would like us to follow you? I have all of your stuff.
Yeah. Follow me on Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, wherever you want to follow me. I have a platform. The most important one, if you want, look up IllTV on YouTube. IllTV 4K. It's scrolling along the bottom right now. Thank you so much. That's really the thing I'm trying to push. But if you'd like, thank you.
I'm like, for special exposure.
For those of you that need your handheld, it's all about.
No, it's kind of tiny on the bottom, so I wanted people to be able to
appreciate that. So, and that's the growth. Make sure you check out the Black Af Films YouTube channel, which isn't very hard to find. It's exactly how it sounds. Black Af Films. That'll pop on there. Make sure you look up the Music Outcast, as you heard me just saying, across various platforms. He's very experimental in trying other platforms. So you might want to look for him on Bandcamp. You might want to look for him on YouTube. He's on his come up. He's making his way, and eventually things are just going to be so fucking crazy for him when he gets picked up. Like,
I give it to him when.
Well, yeah, exactly. He's a nice, just some guy who came into my stream and stuck around for probably the better part of almost a year and a half now. Stream followers aren't easy to get when you're just playing video games. It's very niche. And, the one thing you got to really remember is never give up.
Yes.
It's not worth it. Even if you exist solely off of spite, they say success is the best form of revenge, right? So you're just working anyway, but like, just never give up. Never let anybody stop you. Never let something that's in your own head become reality. Like, I just had a moment before where I reached out to Ron because I had something that had me in my head. I was like, hey, did so-and-so XYZ? He's like, no, man, it's nothing like that. Don't worry about it. I'm like, okay. Just making sure. Got to stay out of your own head and stay in your own lane. That's really the most important thing, is your own lane. Once you find your own lane, no one can touch you. When you try copying and imitating and following the latest trends, which I did when I was an EDM DJ, I was doing big room house one week and then making a bass house track the next week. I never found my niche. I never appealed to a set crowd. I was too busy basically doing what I'm doing now and being everywhere, to the point where everyone's like, I can't get a drop on you. But now it's a little bit easier because everything's so upfront. You just got to find your own lane, be true to yourself, and understand that while asking for things is really cool, you will get more by performing and persistence than you ever will by asking and begging. The fact that I put out the hard work that I put out, you now know my platform. You now know I operate at a level that's not exactly what others are comfortable operating at. I go hard, politely put, go hard or go home. Just don't ever let up. Just keep on going at it, and just understand that your place is out there and your place is with people. And that's the next thing I'm gonna get into. Find your tribe.
Yes.
You cannot do this alone. Take it from someone who did it alone for 20 years and thought I was going to be some superstar lone wolf. It doesn't work like that. And you can try and convince yourself that you can have your little moments. But the moments I've had with my group I want to say the 1 year with Black Af Films and working with all these communities probably supersedes most of my career, save for my peak moments in New York City in terms of notoriety. And that's without having New York City in my hands anymore, because, there's nothing about what I'm doing that works in New York City right now. But it's just one of those things where you really have to find your own lane and find your people, and it all will just mesh together and the opportunities will come in. You should always ask, but you should know how to ask too. Because, sometimes I feel bad for these directors. I'm like, do you have friends, or do you just have people who want to be in your movies? You got to know how to conduct and convey yourself in a way where you are approachable, and they know that if I come up to them, now it's a different story. I'm an established individual. They're like, oh yeah, I know you. I know of you. I know something about you. And I send 3 links and they're like, all right, yeah. It took a while to get to that point. You ease into it and kind of make sure you're in the right places. New Jersey Horror Con, for me, of course, horror cons are my life. I have grown this whole thing off of $70 tickets to horror cons because I found my place. And inside of there, after years of scratching and clawing, I finally found the right place. I'm good with where I'm at. It's nice to have some people from Terrifier share my shit when I review the Terrifier stuff or the stream stuff. And of course, make sure you go watch stream if you haven't seen it already. You've seen it, right? I got
to see it in the theater. I was so excited. I loved it.
It's so good. Oh my God. It's a reminder that Fuzz on the Lens is not a one-trick pony with just Terrifier. They are fucking murdering it right now with everything. Absolutely. They really are. And last but not least, make sure you check out the Vampires in New Jersey upcoming Vampires versus the Mob, which is a comic book that's getting turned into a movie. The Indiegogo is out there, and it's just starting to come out. And you're looking for Vampires versus the Mob or Vampires of New Jersey Indiegogo if you want to Google search it. There's some really fucking cool perks in there, ranging from signed DVDs and signed posters to the ability to act in the film. There's actually one perk that's the all-American dream of being sacrificed by a goth girl. That's an up-and-coming thing that I'm really excited about. The Vampires of New Jersey, Alton Simpson, great guy in the scene, give him back. Alton's actually Vampires versus the Mob has actually sold out 9 times at Kevin Smith's Hidden Stash, and Kevin Smith is the one who told Alton to make a trailer, which is what they're trying to get to go now, because he sold over 10,000 comics of this. I think it's time for some sort of screen iteration, wouldn't you say?
That is fantastic. Wow. I had no idea. And that's such a Jersey thing. Vampires versus the Mob.
I was like, can I play a double agent? Like shit. Like I'm Italian and I look like a vampire. Count me in, man. I'm Italian and Greek. I could be like a double agent. Nah.
There you go. I don't know if I have by injection, but I can pass. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna be involved in that. I just know that that's something that we should all be keeping our eyes on because the Indiegogo just went live like maybe last week.
Okay.
And it's something that I would definitely recommend. Other than that, I'm just thankful you had me on here. I'm glad I got to meet you. You're, like I said, you're a reminder that when you find the right people, it just works. And that's why we've been talking together for 2 hours and 10 fucking minutes.
Exactly.
And neither one of us looks like we want this to stop. But sadly, all good things must come to an end. But we will absolutely do something again. I'm interested in the Saturday affair. Maybe we could talk about that privately.
Yes, definitely.
I think that would be cool. I do have my own Saturday stream. But again, everything's canceled right now due to filming. So maybe I can work into something where maybe once a month I hop in or something. I don't know. Not to get overzealous, but we can figure something out.
We'll see what happens.
I want to fuck with you people hard. No Diddy. Like,
back in the bathroom again. But no, this has been so much fun, and I really appreciate you hopping on here. And everybody, please go to the YouTube channel, subscribe, follow, get those views up. Get it more traction. And I appreciate every single one of you for hopping on here and participating in this tonight. Remember, when life hits you, you have to hit it head on, because when you stick your head in the sand, you think you're hiding from the problems, but the rest of the world just sees a big ass. Love you guys.
Hit it from the back. Sorry.